All right, folks. Well, welcome back to Eoqialyn. Let's jump right into it with recap what happened last time.
Oh man, the party uh, 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 reels from their contact with the spirit of Ishou and deals with their plight in their own individual ways. Uh, they find that the humans had been given soul, and those with the soul were equally affected. Anastas crumbling to its knees from the visions of the pilgrim he was given. Uh, Dorian uh, getting like third degree burns on his arms and collapsing and like being needing of like medical attention. Alexander was like losing his place in reality or something.
And confronted by a really fucked up entity.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun.
Um. While we got after the party gets Alexander or not Alexander Dorian into kind of like this yurt of sorts. Anastas knows that it has to act on the visions it was given and says a farewell to Dorian, unconscious, unable to find the others. He walked his way to Gareth. Anyone else want to talk about their time in the yurt?
Yeah. So Dorian, meanwhile, was having these visions kind of based off of, or nightmares based off of the vision that he had received. And he was in an extremely restless sleep where he saw himself basically being hemmed in with all the rest of the remaining humanity, essentially being hemmed in towards the city of Arkaedyva, and he had been trampled in his dream and held down by some of the Hadra. He saw Hadra of all different kinds, and led by, I'm drawing a blank on the name, the like goddess of war.
Venice?
Venice, yes. She was leading this army of Hadra, and Dorian was kind of pinned down in his dream. Meanwhile, in reality, he had started to like have an intense seizure, and along his arms were these snaking brands that began to appear. On his forehead, a large searing mark of an open flame appeared on his forehead, and out of nowhere, when he awoke, his eyes and his mouth both began to erupt flame all over the place, while you guys were like trying to hold him down, and then he had collapsed again, falling back into sleep for a few more weeks.
Just a casual few week sleep.
Yeah. Those few weeks taken up Anastas's time walking without knowing where it was going, kind of lost in the visions produced in the smoke billowing out of him. It started to kind of make up memories in Anastas's mind, and those memories became like visions. It's ended up seeing its past as a man, a deformed beggar in Iarkaya, kind of one of the places where humans are treated like cattle by the Hadra. One of the more savage places for a human to exist. They saw where Anastas came from, how it became an Ajit, and after watching its body rise from the dead, saw that it had made it to the gates of Gareth, which had been completely overtaken by the Najit. By looks of it, by the Diocese of Order and the Diocese of Might had taken over Gareth and protected it from the invasion of Hadra. So after the party had escaped, the Najit came in short order and saved the city. Walking through Gareth, Anastas noticed that the humans are not being mistreated. They are being surveilled, but the Church of Ishou at the end of the Blue Path or the Blue Way,
Blue Way.
the Blue Way is being converted rapidly by Najit into a temple. There, Anastas was allowed in and was allowed to be met with a deacon.
Yeah.
Valentian. While waiting, Anastas took the time to pray and to contemplate the things he's seen, the things he's done, and the things that it's going to do next, and was brought to a corpse, a wheezing, almost dead corpse. Valentian, with his eyes replaced by bright red amber jewels, came in and explained the situation, that this is, in fact, the King of Gareth, and he is slowly or rapidly succumbing to corruption. Anastas was asked to put the king down so that they may attempt a ritual of resurrection, that he may come back as a Najit. And Anastas stopped his heart with his hand, and Valentian prayed feverishly, and unfortunately the king was not able to be resurrected. There was a parting word with Valentian saying that he believed in Anastas, and that but that Anastas had not made friends in his time away as an ascetic.
Yeah.
So, Anastas would need assistance, would need help swaying the eyes of the higher ups in Karstop. They also mentioned that things are not okay in Karstop. Individuals seem to be acting on individual desires. They kind of seem to have strayed from the path of the religion in some ways. And that it's important that sometime I get there, and to solidify the relationship between Valentian and Anastas, the party, or they will have to find an individual, one of our kind, that has gone rogue in Arkaedyva.
Exactly.
With his knowledge, Anastas took the long trek back at great haste, back to the Vale to meet up with the party, only to rescue Alexander from quite the situation.
Yeah, what was going on with Alexander?
Rescue. He was fine, except that he apparently can now. Well, he can is a strong word. He is just teleported into various locations, or he doesn't quite know exactly what's going on yet. He has an inkling, but he will sometimes be walking in one direction and somehow appear miles away from where he was moments ago. Which is a bit of a surprise to him. He is slowly trying to figure out what it do, but he is essentially believing that it is due to what has happened recently in terms of gaining a soul. And so he ended up in the snare of some sort of he's not 100% sure, but some sort of creature which apparently feeds off of memories. And it was having trouble with him. Notably, was struggling to find a memory within him. He was essentially blocked off to this creature. So it proposed a trade, a memory for a memory, considering it had plenty of its own. And Alexander glimpsed a particularly terrifying one of sorts, which seems to be the creature consuming the memories of I believe it was, what was it? It was like a trying to remember who it was. I don't think we knew exactly anything about the person who was attacked in this memory, but that is something to.
It wasn't. Oh God.
It was this part was pretty. Yeah.
This part was intentionally vague.
Right.
Your understanding of the vision was not that this person was being attacked necessarily, but that you God, you were an entity. You were like seeing the vision of an entity that had lots of different eyes. So you were viewing the scene from like as if you had like hundreds of eyes that kind of were floating around, and you grabbed something from the air and you put it inside of a girl that had just died.
Just died. Okay, right,
And that
right.
was what you saw in the vision.
Right, okay.
I've got an idea.
What the fuck?
Right, that's right, that's right. So the exact details are elusive to. We don't know who this person was, or at least Alexander doesn't, as far as he knows, know who this was.
Yeah.
But yes, okay. But yes, so that was the memory he gained, and what he fed to the creature. Well, it didn't like it too much. And whether or not it is true or not, it believes that it was duped and that it was given a false memory, and that Alexander cheated it out of one
Which
of its
was
own.
like it was a memory of Alexander assassinating somebody in like
Somebody.
a theater booth.
Yes, like an opera house or the equivalent of in this
Yeah.
world. Yes, in some sort of theater, essentially sneaking into their box and killing them from behind quietly. But it did not seem to think that that was a real memory, and thus it was very upset. And that's when the companions were able to come in and help deal with it. Although we did not fight the creature, it did go away, and Alexander believes that it will be that it'll certainly be back. Will it be hunting them? Will it be trying to pull the threads that it will it be consuming more memories to try to get to him? That remains to be seen, but he believes that this creature will certainly be back for him at some point, and potentially for his companions.
Right.
And he met back up with was it Stone or was it Anastas? It was Anastas. That's right. Anastas came back.
Anastas is the one who
saw
tried
this
to
creature
Yeah.
reel up with like tenebrous shadows, start screaming at you, and I dived on top of you, curled you in my arms, and was like, "What the fuck?" And the thing ran away.
Right.
And I was like, "Yo, what happened?" And you're like, "Oh, nothing."
No, it's fine.
Ain't nothing but a thing.
But
yeah, I
Anastas
was
was
that's
beautiful.
a big thing. And you're like, "No, probably not." And I'm like, "Probably." And you're like, "Mm-mm."
It's fine. Yes, he has not revealed the situation exactly to his companions. Classic Alexander. But Anastas looked gorgeous, I believe. Just like,
Nastas has been reforged.
right.
The jewels reset and reorganized, and crafted to him comfortably to fit its frame, and is much more durable.
Yeah.
Oh, so during that time that Alexander was off being, memory interrogated, Dorian had woken up and had a conversation with Stone, I believe,
Oh yeah.
about what he had seen and kind of pressed the issue of how he needed to get to Arkaedyva as soon as possible because of the looming threat towards them. And even given his state, he is like passionately invigorated to get there as soon as possible. Dorian had then met up with Professor Colin, who Dorian discovered had gone mute when this soul transference had happened to the rest of us. And he, I believe in his note, kind of explained how all of this was too much for him, and Dorian had kind of felt guilty about dragging him along on this quest. And in that note, he basically made it sound as if he was resigning his life to helping me discover the secrets of this journal. And Dorian was kind of moved by this, but not to have his help with it, but instead to give him a more peaceful and serene retirement back in Arkaedyva rather than slaving over this document that he already knows has hurt him before.
Right.
We all then met back up again. Dorian shared the information with the rest of the party about how he really needs to get back to Arkaedyva. He thanked... Oh, she's got a weird long name.
Rovid, yeah.
Yes. I don't remember it at all.
Earth that supports the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
He thanked Earth that supports the mountain for taking care of him for all of this time and helping his friends. And then Anastas had agreed to go as well because he also has his own business to attend in Arkaedyva. And I believe that is where we left off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are gonna leave without me.
Yeah,
Which-
we were...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So, little bit of bookkeeping between now and then. I think I in the past week or so sent out that thing about updated rules for the from the Advanced Player's Guide. These are optional rules. We are certainly going to be using alchemical weapons. You will see how those are going to play in later. The research and archives rules, just very briefly, it basically just gives me a framework to ask for group checks, and I just don't know why it wasn't built into the main game. Master crafted items is just a way for me to make different types of items and guidelines there. Damage on buildings, again, I don't know why it wasn't in the base game.
Did you send something out with like all of the things that you're deciding to include?
Yes, there is a pinned message from December 26th in the Eoqialyn chat.
Oh,
That's all the new rules, or the updated rules, I should say, right? Okay, cool.
Hit locations, we are going to be using them. I'm going to be using them for bosses only. And it's gonna be obvious like when they're going to be applied, and I'll also just tell you guys. I don't want to bring in that complexity unless we're dealing with some sort of huge enemy. I don't think we need it. But if we really like it, then we can start doing it more often. Overlapping effects, again, not sure why it wasn't just in the base game, because it just clarifies how things work. In terms of optional rules, we talked about perfect hits and fumbled defense. Very briefly, what was everyone's opinion on that? I know that Don said that he wanted to have this. We're basically talking about nat 20s and crit fails, except they're reversed.
I like them with an additional attempt.
Additional attempt. Okay.
So if you score you score a crit, and then you have to succeed on a second check for the crit to go through. Yep. Obviously not. You don't have to roll a 20 again or a 1 or whatever.
No. You just have to if the second hit would hit, and so then we're basically saying that if you get a crit hit, you get another attack, kind of, which is
because what the actual it doubles the damage die,
something like that. Yeah. That's in 179 of the core book.
Yeah, I try to look at the thread that you put on, but it's gone.
Right. Oh no, you can pull it back.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Okay, so the player deals plus 1d6 additional damage on a perfect hit, and then the enemy receives a free attack against you with a fumbled attack. Perfect defense, you get a free attack against the enemy, and then a fumbled defense, the enemy deals plus 3 damage to you.
Yeah. That's not that bad.
Yeah. No, not at all. Okay, so we will be doing that. We're going to be doing the distance categories for ranged weapons. I don't think that affects anyone here. Well, it's definitely going to affect Stone, and I guess it would affect Dorian as well. So Dorian, take a look at that. Basically, it just means if you're in melee combat with somebody, you don't get to attack unless you have the drop on them somehow. If they are close to you, there's like a point blank bonus. And then if they are too far out, you start getting penalties to attacking.
Okay. Would you mind just reminding me whenever those rules come up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because I have not had a chance to look at these. This is
Sure.
For some reason, the first time I've seen this post.
I am glad that we are talking about it then.
Yeah. Where are we at with maneuvers? We all like maneuvers?
Maneuvers, I really like maneuvers. Don really liked them. Talon really liked them. So unless one of you really hates them, I think we're just going to use them.
Is there a way that we get a list posted? And I could probably make a relevant list just for my personal use. Because not all of them are relevant for me.
Yeah, I can certainly make a list. Are we going to get into a combat today? We might get into a combat today. We're going to do the poor man's version of this right now, and I'm just going to take a screenshot.
Sure.
Okay. That gets all of this.
Pulling up the advanced player's guide right now.
Probably gonna get sued by D&D for doing this, by Wizards of the Coast, in violation of the open game license. Okay.
Criminals, you violated the law.
It's really just ooh.
There is number 2.
Yeah, there's some good maneuvers for Anastas.
There are some good maneuvers. It just gives you so many more options.
The tackle, the hold, the knockout.
Right.
Full offense. Charge.
How do you obtain these?
You can. Everyone can do them.
Oh.
Everyone can just use these.
That's pretty cool.
That just means that there's always something with a mechanical definition that you can probably do at any time.
Right.
Because Anastas has done some of these.
Yeah, and then we just figured it out in game. Otherwise, this just kind of gives you a framework for...
Yeah, like I've held a thing before, I've tackled a thing before.
Yeah.
Pushed it off the edge.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely have to read through those. I'm gonna just keep it open to this, and if I need to reference it, I will.
Cool.
That's really cool.
All right. As for storytelling, bookkeeping things, obviously we are without a Don today, so Stone will not be joining us. Before you leave Ernon's Vale, Stone says that he has some things that he needs to do with the monks, that they have made a request of him that he cannot turn down, but that that you guys should go on ahead, and that he will catch up when he is able to, and that shouldn't be. In fact, you get the sense that he'll show up next session.
Anastas would propose this might give us time to survey how we're going to get him in with us at Arkadyva.
Yeah, knowing, perhaps getting the lay of the land for how Hadra will be treated in Arkadyva would be
absolutely.
Would behoove you. All right, is there anything else that we need to discuss before we jump on in here?
Would just as a quick side note to what we were just talking about, would Dorian actually know how Hadra are typically treated in Arkadyva?
Yeah, so
he probably hasn't seen many of them.
No, has not seen many of them.
Political climate is different.
Right, and specifically, when you first met Hadra, you were very interested.
I think that's absolutely true. I completely forgot about that part of my character.
Yes.
Stone was the first Karovid I had ever seen.
Exactly. They are rare. It would be rare to see a Hadra in Arkadyva. However, they are a tolerant people, and you were struck by the intolerance of Hadra in Gareth. And how Stone was just thrown away. You assume that would never happen in Arkadyva, but then again, it's never really come up that you have seen. So it's a little bit of an open question. Arkadyva is a little sheltered from the Hadra problem. So it's unclear.
Dorian thought that Najit were just religious people. He didn't even think they were actually undead.
Yes, yes, he has been very sheltered. Probably more so than most people in Arkadyva, but alas.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's test out this music. Is this music going to be appropriate for me? Yeah, I think this will.
So much now.
All right, so we are going to start now. If I remember correctly, you guys wanted to stop by the farmstead, built north of Bilthrin, Engelstead Farm, where Dorian, you had promised to return with Purple Mountain Lace, a flower that was very important in a poultice that was used to alleviate some of the symptoms of an asthma type sickness that one of the children had. So we're going to begin with you guys arriving at Engelstead Farm. Engelstead, go ahead.
Dorian will make a point on approach to kind of wind some of the bandages that he had been given around his new his scars on his hands and on his arms, and just kind of let his hair hang down over the scar on his face. He doesn't want it to be apparent or for these people to worry upon seeing us.
Yeah. Engelstead Farm lies in ruins before you, a burned-out husk of what it had been, long since reduced to ash and dirt. All that remains of the buildings are black, charred foundations and misshapen piles of charcoal-crusted timber. One building yet stands, an outhouse where you find the body of a young man decaying, its legs tied to the rafters, its head submerged into the filth below. On the lone tree which sits upon the nearby hill, their unidentifiable corpses dangle above the graves of two men, one still half unburied. The corpses have been picked by carrion and now thawing from the winter's freeze smell of rot and are covered in maggots and flies only freshly crawled from their holes. What would you guys like to do?
Cut them down.
You are
And then
easy.
Nastas will reach out to the body in the outhouse and snatch the rope off the rafter.
Dorian will go over to the tree where he knew that this family had been burying each other for generations and just drops down. So much darkness in this world. They didn't deserve this. They were good people.
They did not deserve this fate. However, the ones that did this will deserve what happens to them. Keep that feeling in your heart, Dorian.
Dorian, you're...
And show them the same mercy.
Dorian, you're sort of like, are you like kneeling in the ground over by the graves, or?
Yes, just
Okay.
kind of kneeling and looking down into the open grave, the one that wasn't finished.
You notice something in the grass next to the graves, obscured a little. You push away the grasses and weeds, and there lying on the ground, you see a thick, shafted, black arrow.
Grips the arrow. The sides of his jaw just tensing, his knuckles going white as he grips it. We will. But not here, and not now. We must warn Arkaedyva.
If it stands.
And Alexander would want to investigate where he's gonna kind of wander the scene and see where the attack came from, where it's where the other where the attackers might have gone afterwards. Were they heading towards Arkaedyva, sort of thing?
Yeah. Let's give me a vigilant check.
Sure thing. Just a standard one. Oops.
Yeah.
E.
There was only one or two graves out by this tree before, right?
There was only one grave out by the tree, to your memory.
And how many are there now?
There are two. The one that you remember and a new one. That new one is half unburied. Alexander, surveying the scene, you are not able, unfortunately, to find much in the way of footprints or tracks. This must have happened a long time ago, probably very shortly after you had stayed here prior to winter. Based on the burned bodies and that arrow, you have the startling realization that those very Endara that had been following you probably followed you here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a miracle that you were not here when this happened. or perhaps that's a curse. Counting the bodies, you do come up one short.
Is it? Would we have an inkling of who that might be?
The one I had
I
sent
know
off.
who it is.
Dorian recalls that he sent one of them off with a letter right before you left.
It wasn't the girl, though.
It was not.
Dorian. And Nastas kind of comes over to Dorian by the graves. I believe you still have a duty, a promise to fulfill. Deliver
Dorian,
that flower to this grave. I believe it was dug for the one who would receive that flower.
he looks down, and I'm assuming recognizes that it is that child that had been sick.
The boy Pidge, yes, does rest in that half-buried grave, as though they were in the middle of his funerary service when they were attacked.
I am so sorry that we couldn't help you when you needed it most, child. I tried. And he pulls out some of the mountain lace, a little crumpled in his hand, and just lets it go over the half-buried grave. In his other hand, he's still clutching onto that black arrow, the bandages on the back of his hand beginning to smolder, and smoke rising in that same pattern that was blistered into his skin as he walks away.
Nastas makes note of that, but doesn't say anything.
All right. Anything else you want to do here before we go?
Are there any signs of like corrupted bodies at all?
No. It looks like well, okay. So all of these bodies were burned. All of them show signs of being burned. And then you, I guess you would also then obviously notice none of them succumbed in any way to corruption. Neither did any of them return as Najit.
That is the most concerning part to Anastas.
All right, you guys head off back down the road towards Arkaedyva. It takes you several weeks to get from Ernon's Vale to Inglestead Farm through Bilthrin, and then to Arkaedyva. Go ahead, Peach.
I just thought of something that I wanted to catch in case we missed something.
Sure.
You said that his body was half buried?
Like they were in the middle of burying him.
When they were attacked.
Attacked.
Okay, that's what I was trying to clue into, whether they were like trying to dig this person up for some reason after they had attacked the family, or
no.
Okay,
no.
got it. Thank you.
And yeah. All right. So let us go to Arkaedyva. It takes you several weeks to get from Ernon's Vale to Bilthrin, Engelstead Farm, and then finally to Arkaedyva. Do you follow the roads on your way there? Do you go through back country? Are you trying to remain inconspicuous? Is there anything that you would like to
I
find
think
about your
due to the
travel?
nature, and I think we're trying to move with haste, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
We would
generally.
probably take the road and try to deal with whatever threats we would meet on the road.
Sure.
Personally, I don't know if Alexander, do you agree?
Oh yeah, definitely. He'll be kind of ahead of the group, obviously scouting.
Sure.
Easier
And
travel
then
for
I'd be in
Dorian.
the back with. We're still with the prince and the professor, correct?
The professor
Not the
is still
prince.
there. The prince
Prince is not.
left.
The
Yes.
prince did leave. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Through the mists and rain and gray of the overcast sky, the spires of the strange city emerge atop the cliff overlooking the murky lake. The sharpness of the towers and rooftops, like jagged spears, pierce the gloom-ridden sky above. The road to Arkadyva, like everything here, is caked in mud and the ever-present dampness of the hills. Equally begrimed people, weary and gaunt, all mill and linger along the road, staring at you or the black sky or at nothing at all, like haunted remnants of men, refugees and beggars, and those unclean masses doomed to wither and die upon that very road. Buildings sharing more in kind with tents rise from the shrub brush around the city, congregating in the greatest number around its base, where a black stone wall separates those mongrel homes from the staunch, sturdy, but no less damp noble homes and business halls of the city proper. Overlooking it all is a stonework something. Oh, a stonework mansion highest upon the hill that, though no more than a few stories, towers dark and foreboding on the city below, itself guarded by a spiked, iron-wrought fence not even a bird would dare touch, let alone perch. Dorian, you know that is the university. As you approach the open city gates, you are apprised by two armored, sour men in red and purple garb. Their leers are foul, but they only nod as you pass. And you step onto the cobbled streets of the free city of Arkadyva.
So, of note, as Dorian has been approaching Arkadyva, he gets a bit more of a spring in his step. That wide-eyed, almost puppy dog trait of Dorian when you guys had initially met him kind of wells back up a bit, and he nudges Alexander a bit and says, I told you it would still be standing. Look at it. It's beautiful, isn't it? As he kind of waves his hand as they walk through the gates. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome to Arkadyva.
Alexander, you look around at the mud-caked. It's that peculiar smell of a city that you can smell the rotting sewage and things. Everyone here looks weary and browbeaten, except for Dorian, who's just like a pig in shit.
Juxtapositioned against it all.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to see you in your element again.
Feels good to be home.
Hmm.
Come.
Indeed.
Follow me. Up this way.
The
We'll make our
professor
way.
rolls his eyes so hard that the rest of you can feel it. So where are you guys headed first?
Following Dorian.
Yeah, this is his territory.
Dorian, this is your turf. Where do you lead them first?
Home.
Home. All right. As you
Unless the bakery is on the way.
Bakery is not on the way, no.
Damn it. Okay. then as we're making our way uphill, and I'd imagine as we kind of progress through the city and move higher and higher up, does the atmosphere kind of change with it? As we progress to like a nicer neighborhood.
There are nicer neighborhoods, yes, and yours is in the nicest neighborhood of the city. I don't want to overstate that its niceness. It is
Sure.
It still belongs in the city, certainly.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, getting closer to the north end of town, things get a little bit cleaner. The houses certainly get more grand, evolving from simpler townhomes into larger mansions. Caldwell Manor, where are you at? Just a brief to give you a mental map of the city. Roughly is split into 4 areas. The north side of the city is where the larger mansions are. The west side is where the you can see the Grand Cathedral, St. Eoqialyn Cathedral, off to the west, and some of the most of the like middle class housing can be found there. And the east side of town is where Stick Market is. That's the market square. A lot of shops and things to be found there. And
from the south.
and you enter through the south. The main road is kept fairly well. As you get into some of the side streets and alleys, things on the south side get a little seedier, but still not as bad as outside the walls. The things outside the walls, that is, your parents told you never to go there, and
it probably looks much like after we escaped Gareth.
Yes.
Made our way to Bilfred.
Yes, yeah. Although Bilthrin's was certainly like a camp, the slums outside of Arkaedyva have been there for a while. There are buildings and
There
things.
to be refugees.
There do appear to be refugees as well, though.
Any like Gareth banner, like anything that would describe these people from Gareth?
Yeah. Yeah, you do see the like traditional wear and dress of Gareth, which is different. It's a plainer and more simple style than you find here in Arkaedyva. You don't find anything in the way of soldiers or banners or things like that. But you do deduce that these are Gardanian refugees. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right, so Caldwell Manor, as it turns out, is one of the largest and finest homes in the city. 3 stories tall and occupying an entire city block, even its doors rise almost 2 stories in the air, making it one of the few buildings able to easily accommodate Corrovid companions, should they be here. The door is adorned with an impressive brass knocker of a lion harpy, and it rings both sharp and deep against the polished wood. There is no answer. You sort of look back and forth to one another.
Anastas knocks loud.
There's no like servants or anything around, are there?
Not from where you can see.
Okay. That's strange. Typically we would have a greeter or
After a long moment, the immense door opens to an older, sharp-nosed man in fine black servant's attire, with bushy white mutton chops and a bald head. His beady eyes go wide upon seeing you. Master Dorian from the grave! Heavens me! Come in! Come in!
What's this guy's name?
So this guy's last name, Argyle Filch.
Great name.
Mr. Filch. It is so good to see you.
So
And
good to see you.
His cane kind of clattering off to the side as he does like a hobbling run to just embrace him with a big hug.
Yeah, excellent. The rest of you. Oh, go ahead.
Where's mother? Where's Papa?
Yes. So your mother, she is at the council meeting of the burghers. Your father is upstairs. I will go fetch him forthwith. Wait right here.
Of course. Thank you. Come in, friends.
Oh, I thank you, Dorian. Your
And,
abode is lovely.
Oh, well, I mean, I did not do much more for it, but thank you.
Oh, so modest too.
It's Mr. Filch, really. He's the leader in taking care of all this. But yes, follow me. Come on in to the foyer and dust off your coats. You can hang them up just over there, and
Nostos, as we're like walking into the foyer, will take one long finger and like slide it in between Alexander's shirt or jacket and back, and kind of like holds him up for a second, and flicks him back towards him, and just says, "I trust your pockets will remain empty today."
Oh, Anastas, you do not trust me here?
I do trust you. I trust creatures to act in their nature.
Well, then you should have no fear.
Surely.
Ferret's gonna ferret, bro.
You are surprised by Caldwell Manor's interior. In contrast to the grand exterior, the foyer is dark, with little light trickling in from the aged windows. It is finely furnished, with collections of statues, paintings, and vases displayed on every shelf and covering every wall, but each of them is worn slightly. A nick there, perhaps some yellowing here. There is dust gathering on the mantle and the corners of everything. Must fills the air. A sort of dry, decayed smell lingers and clings to you. Above you hangs a grand chandelier, gilded and crystalline. It dimly glints in the murky light.
Spent many a good hour studying here in my youth. Kind of looking around, pure nostalgia on his face. Not even noticing like the dust gathering or the yellowing of things and how things have started to kind of deteriorate
Dorian,
a bit.
For how long
yes.
have you been away from home?
Well, it took a little while to get to Garth, and before that I had been held up inside of the university's hospital wing for nearly a year, recovering from my accident. It was shortly after that I had begun to make my way to Garth, and then, well, you know what happened from there.
And the city, you find it how you left it?
Do I? As he's now kind of stopping to think about it a little bit.
It doesn't seem as clean as you remember it.
Well, I mean, perhaps there's a bit more dust and garbage left around than when I had left it, but I'm sure it has to do with the surge of refugees of late, and, well, as for my home, Mr. Filch is just one man, so...
And the guards we saw on the way, I don't necessarily mean your house, I meant the city.
Oh, okay.
Does he find the city on, did you mean the dirty, as in his house, or the
city,
dirty?
when he was walking into the city, he was...
Cool.
just kind of overwhelmed with like the nostalgia of like being back
Yeah.
home, and it's only now dawning on him that it might be a little more crowded and a little dirtier than it had been, but not so different.
Okay.
Maybe.
So people are. It's kind of like this.
You get the sense that Dorian is like coming to a realization that things have changed, and he's not willing to accept it.
Okay.
He wants to keep the rose-shaded glasses on.
Yeah.
Got it.
You hear some shuffling feet against the floorboards up ahead, and down the staircase in front of you comes an older gentleman, balding, but otherwise almost the spitting image of Dorian. Perhaps just a little grimier, a little older, and without the glasses. Dorian, your father Oscar's face lights up upon seeing you, and he hobbles down the stairs as quickly as he can. Dorian, it's so good to see you. And he embraces you with a warm hug.
Dorian does as well. Tears kind of beginning to well up in his eyes as he just holds him tight and, just really breathes in the moment.
We thought you were dead, he whispers into your ear as he embraces you. You can feel the wetness on his cheeks.
There were times that I was afraid I wouldn't be able to make it back. I'm so glad to see you again.
He sort of holds you out. You can see that he's been crying. He's smiling. Who are your friends?
Oh, well, this here is Alexander.
And then
And this.
Anastas would put down the wheel and go down to one knee and bow his head deeply, and introduce himself as Anastas Pravoslav of the Orthodoxy, Knight of the Wheel. It is a pleasure to meet the father of Dorian. You've raised quite a son.
Dear me, is this a Nashit?
1 second, guys. I'm really sorry.
You can see that there is the same awe and wonder in the father's eyes as was in the son as upon first meeting you.
Okay, sorry about that.
No worries,
Sir, you are correct.
Fascinating. Well, come, let's have a seat, and I will have Argyle prepared tea. And
Anastas will pick up his wheel and place it by the coats, and then stop Alexander for one more time as the two move to get tea.
It's as I said. I promise. I promise.
No, it is not that.
Hmm.
But I do know your observant eyes. Do things seem unwell in this city?
Age has a way of bringing wrinkles to light. Whether or not there's something darker at play here, it's hard to say at the moment.
Beautiful manor with a servant covered in dust. Alexander's father wearing soiled clothing.
Dorian's, but yes.
Dorian, sorry. I fear things are not well. And I
No.
fear Alexander is not seeing.
Well, you're most certainly right
Or
that
Dorian.
that the Gilded age of Arkadyva may be beyond it, but
Did you know this city at all?
did I know the city at all?
I don't know. You tell me. You bet you're a worldly man.
Yeah,
There's a man around. You
yeah.
made your way here.
Because I'm assuming that it doesn't match the stories that I've heard of Arcadia.
It's a little more grim. I suppose the world as a whole is, but I will say that it's not quite what I remember. I would say keep your guard up. I would say be wary. But I do believe our dear friend Oscar, Mr. Caldwell, the Elder Caldwell, will be informing us of the goings on over the past few years. The apple does not fall far from the tree, so to speak. I imagine he has a great deal to say to us.
Perhaps that is my concern. And walks off to get tea.
You are brought into a uh, a sitting room off to the side of the foyer to the right, with a grand fireplace that Oscar Caldwell is just now stoking, um, illuminating the place with the orange glow of a fire. The butler Argyle brings tea and some small biscuits and cheeses, and lays them out. And Oscar sits down, gestures for you enthusiastically to take tea. He himself sits, takes tea, and asks, "So, tell me, where have you been?"
Well,
We had gotten your letter. It was delivered some months ago, but we didn't hear anything since then. We assumed the worst.
well, you remember Tobias, father, your old friend from the mercenary guild. He had accompanied me to Geth, and I'm afraid to say that along the way something had begun to go very wrong with him, and unfortunately he had killed himself, and due to a miscommunication it had wound up throwing me inside of a jail cell inside of Geth.
Oh, dear. A jail cell.
Yes. Although I suppose in hindsight it actually was more so for the best. It is where I met these fine gentlemen along with another friend of mine, a Grovid Hadra by the name of Stone. I know they are truly magnificent specimens and people, Father. I would love for you to one day meet him.
Yes.
Together, working together and putting our minds and brawn together, we were able to escape Geth. I don't know how to put this. We had collectively seen a visage of a woman directing us to the nearby mountaintop. She said that she was some sort of priestess of Ishou. And well, we made our way to the mountaintop, and there was the strange temple filled with. We were being hunted by Indara. There were Yara up there. There were strange rituals. Eventually, we had made our way to the gravesite of Ishou.
You went to the grave of Naoka.
Yes.
he encountered an Eoka.
We met Venisi
You
face to face.
you can't be serious.
Yes. Something strange happened there. We were collectively assaulted by a strange force and with terrible visions of what is to come.
What did these visions say?
He just kind of puts his head down for a moment and then looks up, steely resolve kind of across Dorian's face. The end of humanity, Father. I saw Arkaedyva as a last bastion of defense against a Hadra army. All of them banding together to rid this land of us. Dark cloud had hung over Arkaedyva, and a dark storm.
This is quite the story you have, Dorian. It sounds like you went through a lot. Are you okay?
Kind of chuckles at that. No, but I'm better now that I'm home.
Yes. Yes. Thank Ishou that you're home. How's your leg?
It's been better. It's been worse. I'm still able to get around some. It just not as easy as it used to be.
And were you successful? Did you translate the journal?
I'm afraid I was not able to do that, though. Although, as you can see, I did find Professor Thomas Collin.
Yes, Professor, so good to see you. The professor looks up, smiles fakely, and then goes back to his tea.
He is unusually quiet.
He is no longer able to speak, Anastas.
Oh, dear. Professor, I'm so sorry to hear that.
He's been through something rather traumatic.
Yes.
So from there, we had decided to return to Arkaedyva for hospitality, but more importantly, to give a warning and find some answers.
Yes.
The Hadra are coming. We have seen what the army can do, and Earth was nearly destroyed when we were there. They burn everything in their path. Innocents, women, children, they do not care, Father. They are a machine bred for one thing: destroy humanity.
Let us hope that your mother is able to do something about it.
Yes. We'll also need to speak to the professor on some mythologies. There's been a rather peculiar development that I need to speak with him about. And as he's kind of saying this, he's unwinding the bandages, and his hand a little shaky, still covered in those blistery scars and burns. He kind of shows them to his father, rotating his arms back and forth. This was a little parting gift from the gravesite. Not only with the vision burned into my memory, this as well.
He sort of like traces them with his fingers. This is extraordinary. But I'm sorry, Dorian. It will not be possible for us to go to the university.
Why ever not?
You see, it was closed. Well, not closed, but the gates were closed. There was a riot. No one can go in or out.
What happened, Father? This is important.
Things in Arkaedyva are not good, Dorian.
Well, surely Mother could pull some strings and allow us entry to speak to some of these professors, or at least where we could find them.
Good idea.
Yes.
Yes. Let us ask her. She will be home at any time now. She'll be so happy to see you.
Yes. Yeah. He kind of calms down a second and takes a deep breath.
What were these riots for?
Yes. What do you mean Arkaedyva is not doing well?
There's refugees and illness runs rampant. There are gangs and thieves that attack decent folk. Thankfully, we have been blessed. We've been blessed, Dorian.
Do we know the cause of these rises in crime? They haven't been coming up to the northern side, have they? It's
well.
Why would the university close off its gates entirely? I mean, surely
there
was
an incident the way I understand it. I don't know. I leave the gossiping to your mother.
Yes.
Something happened, though. I'm not quite sure.
Well, how has your project been going, Father?
As good as can be expected. I'm come. Let me show you. He leads you slowly up the stairs to the second story of the house. When you reach the second floor, you immediately notice that many of the rooms are bare, having either been completely abandoned or the furniture covered up, where once there had been hanging portraits, paintings, busts, and things. Now there are empty pedestals and conspicuous spots on the wall, where nothing hangs.
What happened? Where's the portrait of the Battle of Darrenhurst Bridge and that you had your prized collection, Father, or the bust of yeah, I'm trying to come up with a name off the top of my head.
Things have gotten a little tight. Your mother is taking care of it. He leads you down the rest of the hall and opens up the door to the library. In contrast, the library is absolutely chocked full. there are piles of books on the ground. Navigating it is like a maze. There's a single pathway to walk through. At the center of the library on the ground is a painstakingly recreated topographical map of Eoqialyn, as far as humanity has explored it.
So after seeing the barren halls and things like that, Dorian's heart started to race a bit as we were nearing the library. I mean, as soon as the doors are open, he just goes, thank
just
you,
like
Ishou."
deep sigh of relief.
Yes.
Yes. Although it is quite a bit more disorganized than when you had left it.
It's because I wasn't here. I know Father can be a little messy.
Yeah. But he begins showing you how is like translating maps into like to create this recreation of the world, and that he's got like paints and things that he's very painstakingly going through and recreating this truly impressive diorama. You were interrupted.
Of the world?
Yes. Yeah. It's like
a diorama of the entire world.
It's like a 20 by 20 foot map of Eoqialyn, topographical. Nuts. So it's like like got you can see things, and it's painted, and like you can see the roads on there and everything.
It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, we were interrupted.
You are interrupted by the voice of your mother behind you. Your mother, Sybil, is dressed very finely. Her clothes are clean and properly trimmed. She is a very slight woman, and the first thing that you hear is, "Oh, Dorian, it is so good to see you." And she sort of floats over to you, and wraps her wiry arms around you in what looks like an embrace.
Yeah, compared to his father, Dorian doesn't light up quite as much. He's still happy to see his mom, of course, but the hug is like picture book awkward.
Her arms are like hovering over you, not actually touching you, and she like
I have like my
down.
fingers kind of lightly brushing against her back, and just give her like an awkward pat, and it's good to see you, Mother.
Yes, Dorian, where have you been? We received your letter, but we thought the worst.
Dorian goes on to explain basically what he had to his father.
Okay, does he explain the whole thing to her?
The whole thing.
Okay.
He trusts his mom.
Sure. Okay. She listens patiently to your story, nodding along. Well, it sounds as though you've been through some ordeals. It is good that you are home to have a nice long rest. In fact, we should have a party to celebrate your return. I am going to invite everyone. Oh, and who are your friends? Will they be in attendance?
Well, of course they will be in attendance.
Excellent. I will have Argyle make up the spare bedroom then. And you
kind of gives a look towards Alexander and Anastas, like, see what I'm dealing with here.
And she actually walks straight up to Anastas and says, "And you are?"
Anastas of the Wheel. Good man.
Anastas.
Mother, I'm not sure that a party is exactly necessary. There's no reason for a ball. I mean, clearly money has been a bit
inspecting
tight
you,
and...
she's inspecting Anastas, not listening to Dorian in any way.
I mean, the logistics alone of all these people that you would be inviting, it just doesn't. There's so much we have to actually get done, Mother.
Do I know you?
Oh dear, you're not even listening to me.
Me? I do
Never
not
mind.
believe so.
You know, an old woman, sometimes my memory plays tricks on me. Anyways, and you are... And she turns to Alexander. What is Alexander doing when she turns to him?
He, well, I would assume he knows some of the social customs here. He's like kind of laughing a little bit before she turns to him,
Okay.
and then immediately goes into a very noble bow, whatever would be the appropriate custom of the area. Alexander, madame, it is a true wonder to meet the mother of such a great and dear friend, and his stories of your home were truly and they were unfounded. It is even greater than I had imagined.
A true gentleman. Dorian, you would take a lesson from your friend here. It is so good to meet you, Alexander. So glad to have you.
The pleasure is all mine. Oh, and thank you very much. Having us in your home, it truly does my heart good. There are such good people in this world.
Flashbacks of Alexander slicing some cultist's throat like a week or two ago. Yes, Mother, I'm sure you're right. There's plenty I could learn.
Yes. Well, come, let's... I need to have myself a cup of tea. I see that you have started without me. She kind of, in a whirlwind, storms downstairs to get herself some refreshment.
Dorian will kind of lean over towards his father, patting him on the shoulder, and just says, "It's beautiful, Papa. I love what you've done with all of it. The colors are so eye-popping."
Actually, you hear him sigh very deeply, and he walks over. There's an area, corner, sort of on the corner. She had actually completely stepped on it when she came to inspect Anastas, and left a huge hole in the plaster. And he's like picking up the pieces and.
Ouch.
Yes. Thank you, Dorian.
I will help you. I will help you fix this, Father.
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
We'll get it right as rain.
Why don't we go downstairs and close up the library for now?
Sure. Yeah.
He sort of leads you out and closes up the library behind him, sighing heavily, and then he follows you back downstairs. Downstairs in the drawing room, Sybil is pouring herself some tea. She's actually pulled out a pad of parchment, and she has begun to scribble things down. She has a mouthful. Oh, Dorian, yes, we have some details to go over for the soiree tomorrow evening. Now, what do you think the linen color should be? Should we do a red or a blue?
What's the color of the area of the map that she stepped on?
Green.
I think green would be the best, Mother.
Green? This isn't fall. What are you talking about? We're not going to do green. Blue it is then. Thank you, Dorian.
I hate her so much already.
You are interrupted by the sudden shattering of glass as a window beside you erupts in shards with a crack. Lying on the floor in front of you is a head, twisted and bestial, with coarse hair and scales and horns piercing out through the blackened flesh. Blood smears the rug, and you can see the glint of a bottle in the creature's teeth. Your mother, Sybil, screams when this happens, jumping back, almost falling off the chair that she is sitting on.
Anastas rushes to it, picking it up and removing the bottle from its mouth and examining both.
Yes.
Alexander will jump out the window to see if he can find whomst was throwing and if people are running.
Whomst is throwing things here.
Dorian, in a flash of quick thinking, screams with his mother and actually awkwardly clings to her in terror when this happens as well.
Excellent. Okay.
It's like the one thing they have in common.
Yeah.
Scaredy cats.
Okay.
Really?
Okay, so Alexander, you jump out the window. Can I get a oh god, I don't know what I forget all of the types of rolls that there are now. Is there like a dexterity type thing? Quick sounds great.
Quick would probably be the most, yeah.
Quick, cunning.
Yeah. Quick would probably make the most sense.
Yeah.
Okay, Alexander, you leap out the window here, avoiding any shards of glass left behind, and land on the street below. Looking out, you can see that across the street there are 3 figures running away. One of them is a slight woman. She is wearing a like a velvet black cloak, and when she turns around, you see she is wearing a polished red wooden mask that's basically featureless except for the eyes. She looks at you, you make eye contact, and then she turns and bolts. A blast of smoke erupts in the alleyway where she had where she had run off to. Are you going to pursue?
Yes, we'll pursue. Is there a way to Yeah.
Okay, so you are going to make a quick check. This is going to be modified by her quick. Just a second. Okay, so this is going to be at a -1.
Okay. Is there a way, before I do roll this, is there a way for me to use... Is there anything else in the alley I could use to climb, or is there balconies that I could get up to kind of get over the smoke or onto a roof quickly or effectively?
So taking a quick appraisal of the situation, it's going to take you too long to get up. There are balconies and things, but getting up onto them is going to take too long. And the smoke has already had the intended effect of you cannot see which way that she turned.
Gotcha. Okay. Then bolting through.
Okay.
Daggers are ready.
Okay.
Or at least one dagger.
Is that 10 the most recent quick check?
Yes.
Okay, great, perfect. So yeah, you bolt down the alley in pursuit, and at that point we are going to actually switch back to Anastas. Anastas, you had reached down and immediately grabbed the head. Pulling the bottle out, you can see that there is a note in the bottle, corked and stoppered.
I crushed the bottle in my hands and pulled the note out.
The note reads, "Do you see us now?"
And then the monster, this creature, is it like an endemic animal? Does this thing look fucking crazy?
This looks like those creatures that you had seen up on the mountaintop, except not covered in needles. It looks like an abomination.
Okay. Corrupted?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. I throw the head through the hole in the wall and pass off the note to Alexander's mother.
Dorian's.
Sorry, oh my gosh. Over to Dorian's mother, questioning her. So whatever would this mean?
I'm sure I have no idea.
This sort of thing is uncommon.
There are all sorts of ruffians, and I have no idea what that beast is. Get that away from me.
He throws it out the window, but
Mother, perhaps
this was not something that happens randomly, madame. This was very much targeted. And targeted, I would assume, at you.
Well, we will talk to the local mercenary guard, and we will certainly get to the bottom of this. Meanwhile, Alexander, you are outside running through the alleyways. Can you give me a vigilant check?
Can do.
Is going to be... Yes, okay.
Difficult.
Yes. You are running through, you get through the smoke, you see them, you round the corner, you head off in their direction when you are walloped by a fist from the side, and we're gonna, where's my bad guys here?
Walloped.
Walloped.
Give him the old 1-2, Roos Caboose.
And this guy. Okay, so you are gonna be making a defense check, and this is gonna be at just base.
Defense check. Okay. Is that just clicking on my chainmail again? I forget that.
Yeah, so if you click the quick next to the protection, it says defend using quick.
Ah, there it is. Cool.
And you're gonna have disfavor on this, or disadvantage on this one.
And no modifiers though.
No modifiers, but disadvantage.
Okay. A disadvantage. Got it. Oh, zipper.
Oh boy.
Ouch.
Okay, so
that's crit fail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but you still block 5 of the damage, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
But wouldn't he roll again?
Yes. Roll again.
Okay. Same deal. Disfavor.
Yep.
Oh my
And
God.
So now you take 9 damage, so you'll take 4.
So it's 8 damage.
How does that work on a crit fail?
Well, it's 7. It's 7.
I was reading the result. Sorry, I was reading the result margin. I thought that was the damage.
19,
No.
20, 19.
Yeah, no. That's not the damage. So the damage that he deals with this jack is 4. Plus 3 is 7. You mitigated 5 of it, so you take 2 as he knocks you in the side of the head with this jack. It sends you reeling. Okay, so we are now in combat. Let's.
Fuck yeah.
Well, it's just going to be the 2 of you for right now. And you are. We do this in quick order, I think. So you go first.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at the maneuvers really quick, actually, and see if any of those might be effective.
Oh, I see what I got to do. I got to put this guy here, and then we're going.
Anastas will use at this moment, after handing off the note, would jump after Alexander without getting his wheel.
Yeah, sounds good.
And Dorian would be like, yeah, go after him and kind of lead his mother to talk to her privately in chambers that didn't just have a head come through it.
Got it. Anastas, we are going to say that you will arrive in after the first round. Okay, and then we're going to circle everyone, and Anastas goes first, but he's not here. And then we're at Alexander.
So, quick question on just the readings of the maneuvers. When it says, like, for disarm, accurate, arrow, strong, does that mean that I'm
You're
doing the
accurate against
versus
their strong. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
cool. Then yeah, I would like to accurate. Wait a minute, I think it's quick versus.
Yeah, your accurate is 7.
Right, and I don't use quick for it. Damn, that's unfortunate. Well, then we're just gonna go for a regular old attack.
Okay.
Give him the old. This would just be knife play, I suppose. Or no, see, yeah, it's still the old dagger. Okay, no backstab on this, I assume, because I'm in front of him.
So you make 2 separate knife attacks, same target with every combat action. So yeah, you'll just make 2 knife attacks. You can use your quick instead of your accurate. You don't have backstab because you don't have the drop on him or anything like that.
Nope. Makes sense. I believe it automatically has my quick being used, I think. We'll see in a second,
because you have feint, you can choose to attack with discreet instead of accurate when the attack is made with a melee weapon, which is either short or precise, which it is.
And it's doing it perfect.
And you gain the advantage as if the opponent was surprised because you can just feint them.
Well,
so yes, you do have advantage. And 1 attack per turn made from advantage deals 1d4 damage in addition to any damage already inflicted, thanks to the advantage. Holy shit.
That's good.
Okay. So yeah, you succeeded, and your damage should be d6, d4, plus another d6.
Whoa.
Ooh, that didn't even register, did it? That's another d6. Do you got it, or can I roll it?
Do you have your...
You got it. All right.
Oh, I didn't mean to roll
7.
it.
Nope, I got it. 9. Okay, yeah, so it seems that he is wearing some sort of like pieced together armor that does block a bunch of it, but that does still beat his damage threshold.
Nice.
And that means that he has to make a check of some type. It's been too long since we played this game, clearly.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while.
He gets a choice of another attack or something.
Yes, that is correct.
Like, make him prone or get another attack.
Attacker determines whether the actual damage is higher than the target's pain threshold. If so, the target... okay. So his threshold is 6. You did exactly 6 damage, so you did not exceed the threshold.
Didn't exceed, okay.
Yes. And he can be knocked to the ground when that happened. But that does smart really bad. He grabs at his ribs where you stabbed him, and goes to counterattack with his jack. Make a defense check at 0.
Defense at 0. It's hopefully not crit fail this time.
Oof, he did.
Fucking what? All 3 of mine. Okay.
So how do crit fails work? Do you just re-roll it?
Fucking fine.
Oh, he did not crit fail.
He did not crit fail.
But it's still a bad.
It's still bad. You do protect against all of it, however. Yeah, he hits you with the jack, but your chainmail absorbs it.
Thank God.
At this moment, Anastas, you are running up. You can hear a commotion happening in the alley across the way. You can see smoke dissipating from something that had happened, and some mercenary guard wearing that purple and red that you had seen. Actually, they had been in the house. In like sort of a guardhouse outside, have come to join you, and you see through the smoke Dorian and some masked man fighting in the alleyway in front of you. Sorry, Alexander.
Yeah, wow.
We're just so alike.
Yeah, apparently. What was that?
It's my turn though.
It is your turn, yes.
I am going to dash forward, and I am going to do the hold maneuver.
Okay.
Nice.
So you rush forward, and then the hold maneuver is
Strong versus strong.
Strong versus strong. Okay, his strong is a that's Alexander. His strong is an 11. So -1.
Okay.
I'm very curious how the guard is gonna act to seeing a Najit come barreling out of the
Microphil.
Caldwell home.
Anastas,
Jeez.
you go to grab this guy and he ducks down under you. He kind of turns around and it looks like he is about to bolt. When that happens, there is a crack of
Oh, he
energy.
also gets a free attack against me, should he choose to make it.
He does not choose to make it.
Okay.
He's choosing to flee at this point. He turns to flee, running off down the alley, and when he does that, there is a crack of energy. The whole alleyway lights up in white blue light, and a sound like thunder bursts through. It's the loudest sound that you have ever seen, and a bolt stretches from one of the guards behind you past you and to this masked gentleman, and he is evaporated. He is reduced to nothing but ash and smoke on the ground, and he like falls and collapses into a pile of charred bone and dust.
This
Yeah.
crash of lightning came from behind the guards that are following
No.
us.
You turn around and you see the guard holding a device in his hands that looks similar to the devices that the Indara use, a little bit shorter, and there is some machinery or device attached to it, including a protruding crystal on the outside, which was, as you turn around, you can see it. It's glowing very brightly, and it's that glow is slowly dimming away. The guard has a large mustache, which is slightly singed, and he looks just as shaken as you are, witnessing the display of what this thing just had done.
Arkaedyva security.
Anastas grabs Alexander and like interposes himself between Alexander and this device.
Thanks.
You can't tell that he's surprised, but Anastas is shocked at what just transpired as well. Stands tall and silently and stares at the guard.
Thank you for your assistance, sir.
Aye, we got him.
You certainly did. It's a shame. It would have been good to ask him some questions, but did you see the other two at all running?
Well, there were two more.
It's okay. But yes, be on the lookout. Red masks.
Oh, it's the
Have you-
bloody masks again. I knew it.
You know of
Shame.
these
Shame. We'll get
before.
him next time.
Have they been causing trouble in the city so far?
Would you happen to know why they would target the Caldwell Manor?
Well, I'm sure my captain will figure that out. I'm just gonna. And he sort of
quite
like he like shoulders this like weapon. You can see that like his hands are still like shaking. I think I need to have myself a sit.
You do that.
Was
And
this
the
was
device.
this explosion audible and visible inside the Caldwell Manor as well, or is it a little too far away?
oh yeah, oh absolutely, yeah. He like he was across the street essentially.
Okay. Dorian would probably make his way out after seeing.
Well, we're gonna make our way. I'm just doing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Back.
You meet at the broken window. And with that, I think we are going to take just a short break here, so that I can get myself something to drink, so
Perfect.
Yeah.
that
Just
I
gonna say the same.
don't cough.
Cool.
Cool.
I'll be right back.
All right, and we're back. Point of clarification that came up on the break. There is only one red mask. The other masks are plain wooden. At least what you have seen so far.
But that shows a division, a hierarchy. So this organization is it's organized.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Um,
there were just two
oh.
guys with wood masks and one guy with a red mask, and that was it.
I would assume the assumption that I made as a player and as a character would be that there is an organization.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Did the mask survive? The blast.
We didn't get. Oh, that one. Sure.
Oh, the mask
Whatever he
did
was
not survive. No,
Okay.
He was, and everything he was.
everything that he ever was is now gone.
Just zapped away.
So we need to be very careful about these dumbass guards.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't blast us too.
Do all of them have? Was it the other one have one too?
No, it looked like just the one of them had them. Had this
Okay.
thing. Okay. So, you guys reconvene at the window.
Well, what happened?
The gods have lightning guns, so that's pretty impressive.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, that was my first reaction.
Mine as well.
I managed to catch up with one of the, well, as I was chasing some of the assailants, one got a sucker punch on me. I was able to hold my own until Nastas got there, and apparently so did one of the guards. And, well, the guard did away with any prisoner aspect I was going for, unfortunately.
Did you get them?
We certainly got one of them, yes. Yes, madame.
And can we question them, or...
Only if you had a necromancer in the vicinity.
a hoodamancer?
He's very dead.
Oh.
The weapons, the god carried,
Yes. Mother,
turns
do you
the body into dust.
So
do
they
you know
work,
anything?
then? Good to hear.
Yes.
What are they? Who did this and why?
Who did this?
What do?
Darling, we're in the middle of a war now, don't you know? I
was
Weapons for
unaware.
defense. From the university. Call them, bolt throwers or something.
In a war against
supposed to
whom
be
exactly?
Incredibly effective.
I
And
know.
I'm glad
I know
to hear
of
that they are. They were
I'm well
rather
aware.
expensive.
Your men are not trained well on how to use them.
Well, each shot costs me nearly $10. I'm not going to just have them practice with the things.
Good lord.
Dear Lord.
Even for you, mother, that is.
How many of these devices exist?
Well, we bought 2, and I know that Johann Morius, I know he bought at least 4. I don't know where he got the money for it, but there are perhaps a dozen of them around the city at this point. But I really need to speak with your headmaster, because we need more of these as soon as we can. In fact, that's what myself and the council were just discussing earlier today, whether or not we should levy further taxes in order to pay for these. I said that no, we should not levy further taxes in order to create a standing Arkadyvan military. That we should let the free market do what the free market does. And the mercenary guard will be plenty sufficient, but that we should invest in this experimental weaponry. I think that it could really make a big difference.
I am certainly with you with the production and distribution of these weapons for the protection of Arkadyva.
Mhm.
However, I believe we should levy those taxes, Mother, to grease the wheels, so to speak, rather than lining pockets.
Nastas looks at Alexander and like, what?
What is going on? She
More importantly, why was a head just thrown through our window with the message
Ruffians.
of "Do you see it?" The ruffians? That is a severed head.
And a very rough one, if I recall.
Is this the first? Not the first time such a message
It's the
has been
first time
delivered.
it's been a head.
Well,
And that doesn't strike you as? I mean, this entire you don't seem all that. Why did they do it, Mother?
You know, I have
what
been
done?
saying from the beginning that it was a bad idea to let those refugees into the city. I mean, if you look and see what happened to Bilthrin just months ago, if we are not careful, if Arkadyva shows the same weakness,
What happened
we
to
shall
Bilthrin?
surely be next.
I was there. We were at Bilthrin, dude.
Oh yeah, when it got destroyed.
Yeah.
No, not destroyed, but the Baron there had to put down an uprising, and it's a terrible business.
The Gardanians are your fellow man. They are
These
your
people
only
need
brethren in this strange land against the Hadra.
Yeah, and they come with nothing. They have nothing to offer us but poverty and crime, and
They had everything taken from them.
Poverty is
I'm
not
a bit
crime, Mother.
I'm a bit worked up. This has been an eventful afternoon. I think that I need to have perhaps an aperitif and a nap. And that is what I'm going to do. And I encourage you to explore the city at your leisure. It is so good to have you back. She looks at the three of you. Perhaps you go and Dorian, you could take your friends, perhaps to what's the name of that place that's down on Jackson Street? Yes, Lookaboof, and get some new something to wear for the soiree. You won't want to arrive in
There are people starving in the streets and throwing severed heads through our window, and we are throwing a fucking ball, Mother.
It's not going to be a ball, it's going to be a soiree. Perhaps
God's
10,
different.
15, 20 people tops.
I am not getting dressed up in some monkey outfit for this completely ridiculous endeavor.
Dorian, perhaps we should look further into the city, as she suggests.
and soirees are a great way to get to learn about current events and to.
And now that
Grease
you
the wheel.
mention it, perhaps we extend an invitation to the headmaster Nikolai and see if he would make an appearance. I do have some things to discuss with him after all. Did your father say something that you wanted to get into the university? Perhaps we could secure a passage or access to whatever it is that you were looking for.
Yes. All right. I will go find a new suit. Do you have any? Do you have the thaler I could borrow for a new outfit? I'm, well, rather spent.
Yes, of course. Talk to Argyle about it. He will take care of it. Now, as I said, I need to take a nap and have an aperitif, and I'm going to go do that. It's a pleasure meeting all of you, and have Argyle clean this up We need that window fixed before tomorrow.
Pleasure again was ours. Enjoy your aperitif.
And she glides her way upstairs.
I hate that you get along
Doss
with my
marches
mom.
out the front door.
Get along is a word, I suppose. know the right things to say is another word for it.
Yeah, as the mother leaves, Anaxtas takes his leave and waits outside of the manor for his compatriots.
All right. What are the rest of you doing?
Getting my things together and
Okay.
letting out a deep sigh. Going up, giving his father another hug, filling him in, saying, "Hey, I'm going to go get a new outfit. Is there anything I can get for you while I'm out?" Things like that, and
Okay.
then gives him another hug and then leaves.
Are you going to go to Argyle to get money?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay.
And Argyle. Oh yeah, Filch.
Yeah.
Argyle Filch.
Argyle Filch. Yeah.
I was remembering him as Mr. Filch. Anyways, so I approach Argyle and Dorian will say, I'm really sorry about this mess. I'm not entirely certain what's going on, but hopefully we will be able to get to the bottom of it. Mother has requested that if you could clean and repair the window, that would be grand, and I need to go get myself a new monkey suit. If you wouldn't mind.
Yes. His brow grows furrowed and his face dark. Let me see what I can drum up here. And the window. I don't know what she's thinking. Okay. And he kind of goes to where there's a lockbox in the first floor area, and pulls out some small bag of coin. As he
Like,
comes
try
back,
to peek over his shoulder and see what's left in the family safe.
sure, make a vigilant check.
Okay. Any modifiers?
No.
Okay. 4.
That particular lockbox is pretty empty. From what
Is that
you
like the
remember.
main one that I'm used to seeing them pull money
That's
from?
the one that you are used to seeing them pull money out of, yes.
Shit.
He hands you a small pouch. It's not much. There's 20 tallow there. That should be enough at least for you and your friend. I'm not sure about your gilded compatriot.
He is big, beautiful, and gorgeous, just as he is. Thank you very much, though. I'm sure this is more than enough.
Please don't hold it against your mother. She's under considerable stress, having been elected to lead the Council of Burghers. She's trying to hold the city together, and it's wearing on her. She does have the family's best interest in mind, you know.
I know. It's just, you know how she is. She's just impossible sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like she's not even listening to half the words you're saying. But I'm sure you've had it far worse, Mr. Filch. Thank you. I appreciate this, and we're going to go take a stroll. Thank you.
Thank you, young Master Dorian.
Is there anything that you needed while I'm out?
No, don't worry about it. I will take care of things here. There's a window that needs fixing.
Perhaps one of those blueberry muffins if I swing by the bakery on my way home? Hmm?
Well,
One of those that I know you love those, Mr. Filch. Come on now.
why don't you wait and see what you have left over after you...
All right. I will.
All right. So, you guys have the afternoon to explore Arkaedyva.
We go to the bakery.
Stop number one.
It does sound good.
I suppose. I don't know. Where do you guys want to go?
Nostos is going to spend some time in the seedy part of town, looking at the refugees and seeing and specifically walking around and keeping an eye on any guards that have this device, looking out for them.
So that's okay. All right. Well, we will do that. Are you going to go alone?
I could if they don't want to.
Alexander, we were basically tasked with finding some new outfits for ourselves. If you would like, you could accompany me to Argyle's and we could get out of these dirty rags for an evening.
Yes, I suppose someone should be, well, you know, we should stick together for sure. Nastas, you think you'd be alright?
I know that I'd be all right. Save
Very
one
well.
of these fools casts that sorcery.
Well, you'll know where to find us, I suppose.
Just
Shall
Be
I meet you
gentle.
back at the manor?
Anastas, a lot of the people from Arkaedyva are not used to necessarily seeing a Najit rolling around the streets, and clearly crime and aggravations are pretty high right now. So just be careful, friend.
Thank you, young Dorian.
Yes, unless otherwise specified, unless we run into each other, I suppose. We should meet at the manor in a short while.
Sure.
All right. So let's start with Anastas. Anastas, you head down back through the south side of town. Do you want to stay inside the city, or do you want to go out of the city?
I do want to go to the refugees.
To the refugees, okay.
Yeah.
And start exploring around there. You pass a number of establishments. The Potts Tavern seems to be a gathering place of a lot of. It's one of the busier places that you pass, and everyone there you can see is drinking out of earthenware pots. Other than that, though, there do not seem to be a huge number of permanent buildings here in this refugee camp. The Potts Tavern, it looks like, was probably a tavern set up outside the city, and then like people just sort of flocked around it.
Yeah. It looks like people are allowed like constant access. The gates are open.
Yeah, more or less. People don't seem to be going through them.
Okay.
Hold on.
But travel is unrestricted.
Unrestricted but monitored.
Unrestricted.
And as you do see that there is a the mercenary guards. Okay. One thing that you start noticing immediately is that not the guards are not wearing uniform colors, and they seem to be a ragtag collection of whoever happens to be outfitted for such a task. Specifically, you notice that they're different insignia, different insignia and colors. You'll see like
Each
guards
one has, like,
posted
an
up
individual-
around. You see guards posted up around like specific houses, and they'll all have the same colors, but every house is kind of a little bit different. And there doesn't seem to be a unified, organized guard force for the city. It seems to be private mercenary
People
groups.
just hire their own people.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Okay.
obviously there must be, like, the Council of Burghers must hire somebody to guard the gate. That's who you had seen at the gate, and they must have somebody that they use. But it is far from an organized, unified force.
And one of them, at least one of them, had a captain. Do the like does the banner of the guards outside of the gate match those of the ones that we saw in the alleyway?
So yes, they were both wearing purple and red. And they have a brass pin that is it like a bird, like a brass brass bird pin. And crucially, they all wear at their sides a like a brass baton almost.
Okay. Heading towards the refugees, I look to see if there's like a group of them around a fire. Are they sharing soups? Are they communing at all, or are they all just kind of huddled in their little?
You do see people gathered around fires sharing soups, and sharing in some amount of community. But whenever they see you, you are eyed suspiciously. People turn specifically away from you, and you can see that, like, children, like, usher their mothers usher their children into the tents or the buildings away from you.
I would approach a group surrounded by one of these communal areas.
There are three gentlemen. They are warming themselves by the fire. One elderly one is sitting and enjoying a small bowl of the grueliest looking porridge you have ever seen. Can Anastas... What are Anastas's senses like? Does
he probably
taste?
has a very dull sense of warmth and of cold, but other than that, it can see and it can hear via the soul.
Yeah.
But I don't think it can taste or smell anything.
Interesting. Okay. These three gentlemen exchange nervous glances as you approach. What can we do for you?
I come in and I sit down in the earth, like kind of clanking and thudding. Actually kneel, I think is what I do, on both knees.
Okay.
And ask the group, you people, the people here, you are survivors of Gareth.
Yeah.
I and a few of my traveling mates. We escaped as well.
I'm sorry, you escaped? You? That's not really my memory of what happened in Gareth, but what do I know?
What is your memory of what happened in Gareth?
My memory of Gareth was not as many Najit running away from the city as running into the city.
You were there when the Black Company arrived.
Yes, and I got out as quickly as I could thereafter.
You ran away, though your city stands.
Wouldn't quite call it stand-in, but okay. Listen, we're just trying to warm ourselves up a little bit. It's getting pretty cold out here, and you're not making me feel exactly warm. So, Can we help you with
I
something, or can you beat it?
I apologize for intruding. I was hoping to come with the good news of Gareth holding strong and rebuilding. However, you choose to sit in the mud. I remain disappointed. And I get up and I leave.
Yeah, me too, Boney. All right. Alexander and Dorian. You
Shit.
We should.
you so
Shit.
are you guys going what are you guys up to?
We were headed over.
I just. Why a ball now? I mean, why not just set up some sort of meeting with the headmaster? We could discuss the production of these weapons and what the hell has happened to us for that matter. Instead, she throws some sort of lavish soiree.
Oh, Dorian. Meetings are where things are written down. There's so much bureaucracy, so much to be accounted for. People are a lot easier to convince and to get on your side with a few drinks in their system,
It's
them
a
under your
waste.
household.
A waste of valuable time and resources, if you ask me.
If it gets you
People are
what you
starving
want.
down there. They throw a bloody head through our window, and we throw a party.
I cannot argue that it does seem in bad taste, but, well, if it's, as was said, it greases the wheel, it could be effective. For us as well. As she said, this could be a way to get access into the library, into the university. One that only I would be able to get into otherwise, I'm sure.
Well, we shall see about that. I know that even the last time I was here, the university wasn't exactly keen on people who were not a part of it gaining access, but
Oh, I'm not too concerned about that myself.
all right. Well, let's go get some damn clothes.
The most important thing, Dorian, I would say to you is, at this soiree, sit back, listen. You don't need to say much, but you can learn quite a bit from what they're saying, from how people are reacting to things. People are very open about their desires at these sorts of things. And their fears.
I understand where you're coming from. It's just the matter of precedence for everything that's happening right now. There is an army not that far from us, and we are woefully underprepared. And she is talking about selling these weapons out to make a profit rather than mechanizing the production.
Nah.
That is my biggest issue with that.
And therein
And
lies
it
one of our
seems a
priorities.
frivolous waste of coin to go out even purchasing these outfits right now in comparison to what those refugees are going through. That is my stance on the subject. I am sure that you're right, that there is a lot I could learn from these things. I just cannot get over the fact that it is purely a waste of time.
Well, I understand where you're coming from. I'm not a moral man myself, so to speak, but I understand. Let's get you some clothes. Let's prepare
and
for this.
you as well, friend. She wants you in a monkey suit as well.
Wouldn't be the first
And my
time.
mother's tune.
All right. So you guys make your way to Aluka Booth, the clothery that you had been instructed to take a peek at. Looking through the pouch of coin, it seems that Argyle was very right. There is just enough for you guys each to get a set of clothes, and that is about it.
A boot.
What do you? Oh, so after going into the store, and purchasing clothes, what do Dorian and Alexander come out looking like?
Okay, so to spare as much coin as humanly possible, Dorian is looking at like cheap clearance section type stuff. Like, just give him like I'm thinking like a suede suit jacket that has like a very clearly patched hole on the side of it, and like a color that definitely doesn't match sort of turtleneck to go on underneath it.
Excellent.
Like a purple and a brown.
Oh God.
He's hideous. I have added Noble's Garb to both of your inventories, and you can modify and change that and write it up however you would like it. Alexander, what do you come out looking like?
The equivalent of what an Arkadyvan up-and-coming young playboy type would look like. You know, very fancy, but subtle at the same time. Very much what the bachelor sort of lifestyle would provide. Something that, if he was getting started in his own trade, so to speak, but was making a good impression. Not flashy, but very much, you know, that playboy bachelor lifestyle.
Okay, so you also get a foppish hat and a scarf.
Excellent. I was hoping there'd be some scarves or frills going on.
Wonderful.
Foppish hat.
So Alexander comes out like with the hat, with the scarf on, like ready to go. Dorian is like clothes too big, like brown and purple, like completely.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
Dorian, you do manage
I was
to
able
save
to save a couple
$5
of
taller doing
Yes.
so, however.
Well, there you go.
That's just enough for all of us to get a lot of muffins from that bakery.
Oh yes, no, you've
a
been talking
lot of muffins. A lot of
Very
muffins.
excited.
Maybe some for later as well.
There is a food and drink section here.
Yeah, that's actually where Anastas's head is at as well.
The blueberry muffins?
Baked goods.
A fried pastry
food.
should be 2 ortegs. That's 2 cents to the dollar of a thaler.
Dang. Pretty good deal. Inflation hasn't infected Arkadyva, huh?
Well, that is the prices that you remember. When you get to the bakery, the smells of warm pastries and baked goods fill the air. You step inside and it is like coming home all over again.
And Dorian kind of smiles fondly over at a corner that he used to like study in all the time when he was at the university, and drink his coffee or tea and eat his muffins. He'll approach the center and just say, 1 dozen of your finest blueberry muffins, please.
That'll be 1 taler.
Perfect. Here you are. And
That is an exorbitant price. That is lunacy. That is lunacy. That
It
is
like 2 cents to the
5
dollar.
times what it had been.
for a dozen?
Yes. Okay. If a taler is $1, one of these things used to cost 2 cents.
Oh.
So a dozen would have been like a quarter, not $1.
I'm sorry. You said it was 1 taler?
Yeah.
My goodness, that has absolutely skyrocketed. What? Well, very well.
Flowers got expensive. Not sure what to tell you.
Hard
Another
times,
casualty
I
of
suppose.
war, may I take it?
among other things.
Well, thank you anyways. You're still very much so worth it. Here, and
Not sure what we're gonna.
He'll pull out like 10 ore tags on top of the $1 and just say, here for you for your troubles. I'm so glad that you were at least able to remain open throughout these hard times.
So you should be at $3 9 shillings at this point.
Okay. I don't think I had any money before this.
I do not think that you did. No.
Okay, so $3.
I'm not sure what we're gonna do if they raise the taxes again.
How much have
Not sure
they
we're gonna be able to make it.
raised? How often and how much have they raised it by?
It's only been the once, but with the increase in prices and everything, it's...
Do you know what they raised it for?
Well, yeah, the refugees coming in, you know, we had to fortify the city, we had to pay additional mercenary guard, the way I understand it.
See. All right. What are your thoughts on all of this? These new weapons that the gods are holding the refugee
Weapons?
issue. Yes, those oh, you haven't seen one?
No. What you talking about? They've got some sort of new sword?
Some sort of that must be new. Well, perhaps I was just seeing things. I personally didn't get a good look at it. I had only heard, but
Yes, my friend. You remember it was you thought it was some sort of new weapon. It ended up not being the case. They
Oh yes, you had said something about that bandit that you saw him chasing down had dropped some sort of phosphorus
yes
bomb or something.
yes
along
no
those lines.
commotions in
You
in
folk
the
from
city.
the university?
No, well
Well, actually, yes, I am. I'm a returning customer. I know the beard has grown in a bit more, and I'm a bit worse for wear as of recently. But I'm Dorian Caldwell. I came here almost every day to study through my exams.
Oh,
Do I recognize this guy at all?
no. Not
Oh.
in any way. And actually, as you're looking around...
Do I know like the name of the former owner or the owner as I remember them?
Yeah, you remember Michael. Michael was his name. God, what was his last name? You can't quite remember. But yeah, you knew the owner very well.
This is still Michael's place, right?
Oh, Michael's dead. Died 6-9 months ago now.
Oh. What happened? That's awful.
He got sick. Now they
You
say that
didn't-
there's a sickness going around. No, I just work for him. I was bought out by this wealthy guy, Johan or something. I just work here.
Johan, that sounds familiar to me. Right? That's, if I'm remembering correctly, my mother's nemesis, so to speak. in the
Sure.
city.
Yeah.
That-
Okay.
rival.
Rival. There we go. That's the word I was actually looking for.
Yeah.
Oh. And holding this tray of muffins with nothing but sheer regret and just almost disgust on his face, because not only are these not Michael's muffins anymore, I just funded my mom's nemesis.
Yeah.
Well, Thanks. And Dorian kind of sadly turns around and begins to walk out of the place.
Come back soon.
Gods, I hope these muffins don't suck. And I will head back home.
Okay. Anastas.
Wait, sorry, one last question.
Yeah.
Did my mom tell us to go check out, to go speak to the headmaster to invite him, or was she inviting?
No, she's going to send an invitation.
Okay,
she's going to have her people contact his people.
All right, I just wanted to clarify to make sure we weren't supposed to make a trip there as well.
Yeah. Yep. Not at this point.
Astas is going to walk the streets of Arkaedyva. He's on the south side right now. He'll move the stick market to the east.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anastas is going to walk through it just to look at it, and then slowly make its way back to Caldwell Manor, but specifically not until later evening.
Okay. Yeah, walking through Stick Market, you pass Crispin's Curiosities, the Oak Barrel Inn, Gregorio's Fine Dining, Pickensey Theater, the Brass Jacks Company Hall, and even the Sweet Spot, where our friends will be having just left. The city seems busy but tense. Let's get you I need a D4. As you are walking through the streets near Stick Market, over the crowd, you hear a preacher admonishing the people of Arkaedyva, warning sinners to repent, so that Ishou's return will be swift, and if they do not, then we will all certainly perish. And that about sums up the mood of the town. There's fear in this city, a certain tension. You see brilliantly done up men and women in fine, extravagant clothing, and also just incredible poverty. And the juxtaposition between that dirtiness and the wealth is stark to your eyes. Dorian and Alexander, you get back to Caldwell Manor. You break into a box of a dozen blueberry muffins that are good, but not as good as they used to be.
No!
Oh, I'm so sorry, my friend.
This is the most crushing thing I have ever been through.
They're not bad.
Little dry.
Thank you for sharing your
Dry.
favorite place, though.
It's like a desert in your mouth.
I am sorry, friend.
Dorian just takes like a half-eaten one and the rest of the dozen.
The professor eats like his one bite, and he looks at you with like contempt and dismay and like a little bit of betrayal.
Right? It's fucking.
And he just puts it down and he just pushes the plate back across the table towards you.
Minerva, come here, girl. You want a bite?
And she scurries up with all six of her limbs and digs in, and when she like digs in, she starts eating, and as she looks up at you, she's got like 4 handfuls of blueberry muffin and like big swollen cheeks, and goes back in for more.
Well, at least we won't have to worry about feeding her for a while. Or at least the evening.
Time.
I bring the like 9-ish donuts, or not donuts,
Muffins.
muffins that are left over to Mr. Filch, and kind of his sleeves too long for his arms, and it being all raggedy and stuff. He takes off this suit jacket, and he says, "Well, I was luckily able to save a few thaler and got you nearly a full dozen thing of muffins. What happened to Michael's muffins, Mr. Finch?"
It's not the
Filch.
same, is it?
I mean, you can have these, of course, and if it's not too much of a bother, could you patch this up just so Mother doesn't kill me?
Pat.
The suit jacket. The arms are a bit long. If you could just hem it a little bit and...
A bit long. They're 1.5 feet past your wrists.
Oh, you are a magician, though, Mr. Filch. You have worked wonders
This
on
is
all
three.
of my outfits.
This
Please,
is
thank
3
you very
seasons
much,
old
Mr.
style. What am I
I
supposed
close
to
the
do
door
with
as
this?
I walk out.
I told him it wasn't right. He didn't believe me.
Skimping on clothes for bad blueberry muffins. What has this family come to?
Oh my god, I'm crying.
Oh my.
I don't
Alright.
know what I'm doing next. Shit. We have so much to look into. Alright, can we just... Yeah, where is Anostos? Is he returned yet?
He should be back soon, I would imagine.
Alright, so... Let's break down what have we learned. We need to figure out something to do with these refugees. We need to fix the production in order to up the defense of this city. We have learned that there is some sort of illness that has been wreaking havoc around here. Is there anything I'm missing, Alexander?
Well, of course, there's the extreme poverty and the riots, the university being closed off. It really seems like a dark shadow has come across Arkaedyva.
Yes, we need to find out some sort of way in order to contact the different professors and get a bit of a greater meeting together. Well, perhaps the soiree wasn't the worst idea after all.
It can be a good way to swing those who have the funds to our side and the power to our side, or at least attempt to. And again, we can learn even more.
I just hope Mother doesn't splurge on this event. I believe it should be much more...
Oh,
business-like.
she will.
She will. Yeah. Perhaps I could sit down and have a chat with my mother. She, in her heyday, was quite the botanist and alchemist. Perhaps we can look into a way to help cure this disease and put some of the poor to work and help turn this place around.
It is possible. We might be able to swing some of these things back on our direction. If we are smart, if we are careful, which is not usually our way of doing things, but...
Thought about the muffins again, I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Oh god,
Yes.
we are no longer in the tavern. Okay. Turn this off. All right.
I will be right back, by the way.
Okay.
You guys can keep going, though.
Anastas, you return into the evening. Yes.
Yeah.
Is there?
I would knock at the door before letting myself in, or knock at the door. I wouldn't let myself in. I would knock at the door.
You knock at the door and are let in by a somewhat harried Mr. Filch, who is doing his best. He has like one of those dress stands like up in the sitting room that you had been in, and he is trying his damnedest to tailor this suit, this brown and purple suit that Dorian purchased. He lets you in.
Good Mr. Filch. I was curious if you could fulfill a request for me.
Certainly. What sort of request?
Could you fetch my good friend Alexander and send him out here to speak with me?
Yes, I could do that. He what is Alexander up to?
I will wait outside.
What is Alexander up to when Mr. Filch comes to find him early in the evening?
I think we have to wait for him to come back.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. Dorian, in the meanwhile, to kind of kill time until the evening when Anastas returned, will be doing what he can to help his father in the library with his diorama and kind of reminiscing about the good old days and some of the different lessons that he's taught him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of try and bring up his spirits a little bit.
Now, Dorian, I know that things aren't the same as when you had left, but we did try, and we are doing our best. Your mother thought about selling your collection, and I put my foot down. I said that we shouldn't do that. So it is still intact.
Dorian's eyes kind of went wide at that even being brought up. And have things truly gotten that bad around here, Father? What happened to our apothecary?
Well, the apothecary is, well, I've never been good with money, and your mother takes care of things, and the apothecary is going well, but there are a lot of expenses. You had gotten sick, and things have been just getting so expensive, and then your mother was elected, and keeping up the formalities, and it's all been a bit much.
It's all right. We'll be all right.
Yeah, your mother assures me that she's taking care of it.
All right. What have you heard about this sickness going around town?
You should ask your mother about that. I'm sure she could tell you more. But well, Reverend Longfellow says that it's Ishou's punishment for our sins.
Ishou's gone, Father.
Yes, because we have sinned, says Reverend Longfellow. I don't know much that I believe him, but what else is a man to believe?
The truth. And to think for yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes that's the very best thing that a man can do in times like this. That's what my friend Anastas taught me. Thinking is what keeps you alive.
Yes, this is good advice. I'm glad you found such good friends.
And doing what is necessary.
What is that?
What's what?
What is necessary?
Oh, you know, keeping ourselves safe and the people that we love safe. That is what is necessary. What of these weapons, Father? You've certainly heard of some of these new designs going on at the Academy?
Bolt throwers, they're going to revolutionize warfare.
I knew it. How were they made exactly? Was it your design?
It's fascinating. No, it wasn't my design. They used the
lumidium.
You know what I'm talking about? Yes. And if you generate enough heat, then they.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yes, they use a form of powder to make heat. There's a chemical reaction on the crystal, and then it creates the.
How do they manage to control that sort of force?
It's highly unstable. Few of the test subjects were incinerated.
Oh.
They're
just wandering around in the guard's arms without any sort of proper.
They're working on it. You have to be trained. It's a very delicate process.
I absolutely agree. Do you know if there's a way? Have they begun mass production of these, or?
No. Well, things at the university are not as the sickness, you know.
Oh, it's spread even into the university. It's not just the lower city with the refugees.
What are the chances your father knows what's going on here? You should be careful when you go to the university. There's trouble.
Are you saying that
not
I
sure what I haven't been there myself, but rumors. Not.
What have you
no.
heard? What are they doing up there, Father?
The lumidium. They found it below the city, but then if everyone started getting sick, they say that it would have been created by the university, but I don't think that's true. I think it's a misunderstanding.
The lumidium is somehow making people sick.
No. Yeah, you fell.
Yes.
There are things in those ruins. Dorian. There are things there that do not want us to be there.
Kind of slumps back a bit. Oh. Oh my. Things may be worse than I thought. And he just kind of goes quiet and sits there. With his
I
father.
have studied history all my life. One lesson I have learned, it can always get worse.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of. As he thinks back on the vision he had and the horrible nightmares.
Eric, are you
this
back?
place inflicts.
I am, yes.
Where do we find Eric? Where do we find Alexander when Mr. Filch comes to fetch him early in the evening?
I would say... Does... There's a library here, right? In the Caldwell house? Yeah, he'll be perusing that. He's been allowed in.
Yeah, he has been allowed in, and actually, Dorian and his father are working on repairing the ruined
that's in
section
there,
of
right,
map.
right.
And so Alexander's just sort of like off in like the corner perusing the books quietly
Yes.
while they do that.
Listening too.
Yes, yeah.
Naturally.
And Mr. Filch interrupts you and says, Mr. Najit is expecting you outside.
Ah, yes. Thank you very much. Yes, I will go to him then.
Very
Dorian
good,
will kind
sir.
of turn and give a strange look. He did see Mr. Filch come in and
Yeah,
talk
yep.
specifically.
Yep.
And he just kind of gives a strange look towards them both and then just continues his conversation with his father. Odd. And then we can flash over to them.
Okay, but before that happens, Mr. Filch comes over and says, Dorian, your mother wished me to inform you that she did manage to secure an invitation for the headmaster, and he will be in attendance tomorrow evening. She knew that was very important to you and has made sure that that will happen. She asked me to relay that.
That is wonderful news, Mr. Filch. Thank you very much. And
Was
course,
there
just-
anyone else you had wished would attend? This is your party after all.
yes, actually, the professor of mythology, if he could attend, that would be wonderful. I, Dorian, know his name, but Peach has forgotten it, so
I will see what we can do.
perfect.
All right.
I
Alexander.
can't really think of anyone else that he might want to invite. The Professor Colin, of course, he's a given.
Yeah. Where is Professor Colin?
That is an excellent question. I suppose I would certainly set up a room if he doesn't have somewhere to go with his. I assume his family lives here in Arkaedyva.
That's true. And according to the letter that he wrote you, he does have family that lives here.
I mean, I went there.
He
Yeah,
has
I'd
not gone
assume-
there, actually, though. He is still hanging around here
Just
for some
sad
reason.
and-
Just,
Okay.
yeah, just sad, drinking tea and tottering around the house.
Oh, I relate to that.
Okay. So the next on Dorian's list will be to go and have bring a pad of paper and a pen to Professor Colin to have a little chat with him. But
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Alexander, you find Anastas outside, where it has just begun to drizzle slightly.
Anastas, how was your walk around the city?
It was unfortunate.
Oh,
The refugees. They are from Garth, yet they escaped when the Orthodoxy liberated the city.
that's
And
good.
they escaped the Najit, not the Hadra.
They escaped the Najit.
My hope
Interesting.
was to send them back to Garth, where they'd be welcome. However, it looks they do not wish to return as my people control it. However, I did have a request from you.
Oh,
Would you care to go out for a drink?
Anastas, I thought you would never ask.
I won't be joining you,
Oh,
but I fear young Dorian's family is on the wrong side of what will keep Arkadyva safe. I fear we may need to find this masked group. They may be the allies that we require. I don't know
Really?
if Dorian will understand. I
Come on.
myself
Not
cannot.
there.
I myself cannot approach humans in this town. But I think you may be able to get the information we need.
I can certainly do my best. You believe that these weapons are at the root of this issue?
I think these weapons need to be removed from the hands they are in, yes.
It did seem like that guard was not quite ready to wield such power.
I fear very few should. I was wondering if you could join me at a pub and see if we can't find more information on these masked individuals.
I'd very much like to do that, yes.
Well, I know where people are meeting.
How did you find that out?
Oh, I found an inn on the outskirts of town. I figured we would start there.
Good a place as any.
Okay.
You sly motherfucker.
All right. So, you guys make your way across town, and to the Potts Tavern, outside the South Gate. Is that where we're heading?
That's where I would like to guide
Excellent.
Alexander to.
Okay.
I will not be going inside.
Okay. I want to take a 5 so I can gather my thoughts.
Sure. I know I'm throwing a
No, I love
yeah.
it though. Like, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, and I have an idea. I just want to make sure that I get it down. So
Got it.
we're gonna
Cool.
take a 5, and we'll be
Sure.
back at 9:35.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't mean to go behind your back, but I figured your character might get in the way a little bit. Peach. I'm not trying to exclude you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. That's a really cool way to explore both sides of the situation, and Dorian absolutely wouldn't understand or agree with any of this. Dude, I love this session.
Come on. Justin. Want to get a drink? I don't.
Good, because I need you to.
That's one of my favorite stories I've ever heard. Sophia's grandpa took her grandmother on a date. They went to a pretty famous, I think it's Catherine's Palace, where we were at. But they were walking around, and her grandpa says to her grandmother, "Do you want ice cream? Because I don't."
Oh yeah, the ice cream sounds great. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
Just curious if you wanted it or not. We aren't getting any, but
Oh, buddy. Brant hurt himself. I think he broke his toe.
yeah, that's what you were saying yesterday.
Aw.
Yeah. He's a limpy dude. I called the vet and they said, if it's his toe, probably not worth bringing him in. And, they hurt themselves and they get better and you can ice it or whatever. So I'm icing it.
Right.
But there's not a lot you can do about a toe. If it was shattered, you would know. He would be.
Yeah.
It's
My
gotta
mom's
heal on
dog
its own.
just
Yeah, I'm sure he just sprained it being a big dumbass.
my
I
mom's
just love that
dog.
it wasn't at Lion's Den when he was jumping, dipping, diving, and ducking around the gorge. It was when he came home and yesterday or the day before and played with the tire like a maniac.
Peach, you were saying your mom's dog had a similar situation?
Yeah, she her dog Bear had just recently hurt his hips or his back leg. They're not entirely sure which it is, but he's been having problems getting around, and she's had to get medication for him and stuff.
Aww.
He had to be taken out literally every single hour and drank something like 2 to 3 gallons of water a day.
Jeez. That's wild.
Yeah, she had to get up with him every hour to take him out.
Aw. I hope all the little fellas do better.
Me too. His toe is pretty obviously swollen too.
Aw.
I checked it to make sure he doesn't have a sliver or something. I don't think he does. He's not whimpering or whining at all, so I know that's not required to be in pain, but
Sure, but yeah, it's a good indication if they are.
he's very protective of that toe too. That's the one.
Oh yeah.
Oh. I'm just glad it's just a toe. It's yeah, it probably sucks, but he's not licking the shit out of it anymore. That was another issue. I was like, oh, you're gonna lick it forever, and then you're gonna get a problem from that. But he's
that's good.
Poor dude. Poor dude.
Dude, what the fuck is going on in this city?
Bad
Your
shit.
fucking bourgeoisie mom's taking all the fucking money.
We don't have any money though. We're broke.
Well,
She's trying.
She spent it all on them guns.
Yeah, it's a number of different things, but that is part of it, I'm sure. But she's trying to monopolize it rather than making it like a levied tax, essentially, where
There's already a lot of taxes in the town.
I know, but if it's mass produced for
And
the
she's
actual
just giving
city
it
versus
to her like cronies to fight her
that's
nemesis.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. And but also none there's not Anastas certainly doesn't trust anybody in this city with that thing at all.
I mean, we need it though.
Sure, but we need to find somebody
definitely
that can use it.
Soiree would be a
These
good way to find
mercenaries
Me.
shouldn't have that thing.
Me.
They incinerated a suspect.
Yeah.
Give Dorian the power of Zeus.
That's
Okay.
just what we need.
Okay, so Alexander, you are going to the seediest part of town to go to a bar to ask about a probably underground terrorist movement.
And we say I have changed out of my very
What are
fancy
you
clothes.
wearing?
Not that.
The foppish hat and scarf.
Going full pimp outfit.
Just like
Good
with
evening,
full
ne'er-do-wells.
pimp, including cape and cane.
Yeah.
Hello, governor.
And hat and scarf.
Alexander,
Yes.
before you go in, one more personal request. There are rumors one of my kind lurks in Arkaedyva. The rumor is that this individual has gone rogue from the Orthodoxy. Should you hear or see anything, please just take note.
I'll see what I can find out.
Thank you.
Lurks was definitely an interesting word.
I will
there.
be on the side of the building.
Very well. If you hear any ruckus within, well, do what you do best, I suppose.
I will protect you, Alexander. Thank you for this.
Of course.
All right, Alexander, you walk into the Potts Tavern. The Potts Tavern is a ruddy collection of bars and stools that's been made out of several different buildings. Everything is a little dirty, including the people. There seems to be only one thing on tap, and it is served in this sort of like earthen pot. Like imagine like a small size version of a Legend of Zelda pot. That's what the beer is served in. What do you do?
Alexander will go up to the bartender and ask for a drink to start off.
The bartender is bald. He's missing an eye. He has a large white beard, and he pulls out one of these jars and he slides it over to you, and he holds up one finger.
Thank you, sir. And he will pay the. Would that be a thaler or?
$1 for a beer.
Dude, you're at the cheap bar. This is like 1 cent. 1 cent.
Well, I don't
beers.
know what the muffin's fucking going up.
Yeah.
I give him the one of the small.
Dressed like a rogue and asking if he needs like $100 for it.
So I've got all this money in my pockets. I don't know what to do with.
The music screeches to a halt and everyone looks towards you.
Just can't close my wallet. Yeah, he'll pay the bartender. Thank you very much.
He sort of tips his head to you, and he looks over and he laughs at a joke that was told by somebody at the other end of the bar, and you can see that his tongue has actually been cut out. And he mops up his spittle a little bit, and then continues to go about moving around the dirt on the bar, not really cleaning it, just kind of, spreading it around.
Yeah. I take it he's not the one to talk to about these things then. Alexander will look around at the patrons and kind of see who's there.
Yeah. And I have, okay. Interesting. Yep. All right. Directly next to you is a very dirty, smelly man who's clearly had a few too many. He looks over at you, bleary-eyed, and lets out the longest, juiciest fart you have ever heard. And then smiles at you.
I smile back.
Down in
Take
the
it
other...
you're not.
Oh, go ahead.
I take it you're not having any issues finding things to eat then?
Well, once you learn to muscle your way past the gag reflex, all sorts of food possibilities open up, let me tell you.
Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Down at the end of the bar, there is that the same gentleman who was telling jokes. He has very close cut hair and a big mustache. There is a a gentleman in the corner who has a jar filled with bees. A man who is wearing a very strange hat that looks like only has a brim on one side of it. And there is a individual in the corner who is there is a woman in the corner who is being talked to relentlessly by a pretty well built young man. Looks like he could be a mercenary or a soldier or something like that, who is insistent upon their having a conversation, and she is clearly not into it.
That overly enthusiastic gentleman, he would be possibly one of the people who's used some of these weapons before. Yes, is that what you were getting? Like one of those?
That's possible.
He
is wearing colors. It's green and blue. The colors he's wearing.
And they were wearing like red, if I remember right.
They had a red mask.
That was the group that we were chasing.
Alexander is the sort of person who knows exactly the color that the guard was wearing that he passed on his way into the city, and it was purple and red.
It was purple and red. Excellent. Well, knowing that, Alexander will go over to that group and kind of put his hand on the shoulder of the mercenary or whatever type. Say, aren't you the unit with the new weapon of sorts that I've heard all this talk about?
Hey, buddy, look, I'm having a conversation here. Beat it.
Well, it seems a little one-sided at the moment, and I was just a little bit curious about the what's going on with the guard. It's so intriguing. I just got in today.
Roll a persuasive check.
Yeah. Oh, man. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
Come on.
Fuck, what are these rolls?
I know. This is bad.
Look, pal, I'm off. I'm not here to talk about work. We're having a conversation. Beat it. Or I'm gonna beat you.
Well, very well then. I will let you continue your monologue. Apologies for my interruption.
People these days. Jeez.
I kind of give like a I'm
So
sorry.
anyways, it's called dog coin.
Oh God.
Is the woman at least able to escape from this horrible encounter?
No, she is trapped.
Should have used the disengage action.
Right? I gave her an
She was
out.
distracted.
I gave her an out. Just kind of like look at her, just like shrug. I'm sorry. Damn. Not talkative bartender makes this a little bit trickier.
We
I
have
guess we'll go back.
a man with a strange hat. We have a guy telling jokes at the end of the bar. We have a gentleman who is excited, who is carrying around a jar filled with bees and excitedly talking to the person, the other patrons at the bar. And then the farter.
I go up to the man with the single brimmed hat. Excuse me, would you mind if I sat here? I'd rather not sit next to the fellow with the bees if he spills that.
Sure, but you gotta be careful. He looks side to side.
I'm very careful, of course. What should I be careful
that's
of? Besides everything, he takes a seat next to him. Well, not next to him, but you know, at the table.
Well, you know. Who are you again?
I just got into
Listen,
town.
I'm not trying to start anything here. I'm just having a drink.
Oh no, not at all, not at all.
You're not with them, are you?
To be honest, I don't even know. I've come into town and it seems like everyone's on their toes.
You don't even know. You're in deep, my friend. Deep, deep. That's how they get you.
Really?
You should watch out. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's
Oh yeah.
they? Are they here?
They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. You gotta be constant vigilance, man.
I will keep that in mind, especially around here. Wow.
Especially
I didn't realize
around-
I was in
especially
danger.
around here.
Wow. This is intense. Are there different theys to be concerned about? Two different groups, multiple?
Yeah, some of them wear blue and green. Some of them wear red and purple. Some of them wear masks. Some of them don't wear masks. You gotta watch out.
Starting to sound like quite the number of people. These masked ones, that's interesting. I've seen the others you talk about. One back there, of course. What about the masked?
You gotta watch him close. Gotta watch him real close.
Luckily, he seems distracted at the moment.
Now, I don't know how much I can tell you. I don't wanna mess up the timeline.
No.
Stops there.
Alexander takes a drink. Well, this mask group sounds very interesting to say the least. I'll be very careful of them. Do you know where they would? Are they mostly active somewhere? Or are they eyes and ears all over the city?
Well, when they're not wearing their masks, how do you tell?
Whoa, a very good point. Are you one of them?
Take a piece of advice, not from me, but from my friend who's not here. Because you get it. You understand. You and me, we're a team, right?
Yes,
We're
of course.
in this together.
Yes, it's us against them.
It's us against them. Yeah. Yeah. So, what you should do, if you want, you should know, take a piece of advice from my friend. There's a guy who carves masks outside the temple. Now, what do you make of that? What's he doing? Why is he carving masks outside the temple? What's he doing that for?
Interesting. And well, if this mask group is everywhere, he'll have quite the customer base. That's
How many
interesting.
masks has he made? If he sits down, he makes 100 masks a day. In 3 days, that's like 600 masks.
City could be full of them.
City is full of them, probably. Probably.
You're right. This place is dangerous. I might have to leave soon then. And I believe you should probably. But yet you come out and have a drink. Curious.
So as this guy like wipes his face, you can see that his hand and arm are like covered with sores that are weeping a black pus.
Oh.
Oh.
You gotta be careful.
Yikes.
I certainly will. Thank you very much for your advice and your warnings, and your friends' warnings, of course, too. And you didn't see me, right?
Didn't see who?
And I didn't see.
Who? Wait,
who did I?
who are you?
Exactly.
Get
Thank
out
you
of
very
here, man.
much. And Alexander will rise.
Somebody grabs you by the arm and pulls you into a nearby booth.
Ah. Oh, well. This hasn't happened in quite a while. I don't know if I was
You
prepared.
feel a blade being pressed up against your side.
Oh.
Who's asking about masks?
Only I heard about this commotion in the city earlier, and I was just curious if anyone knew anything. Apologies, I didn't mean to step on any toes.
Discreet me. Well, persuade me that you're not lying to me right now,
Sure.
I guess.
But
Do you have a bonus on things that you lie about? No.
I
No, you're a
don't
cat.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do need to get that. That's like one of the next few things I do want to get into, especially now that we're getting into some more of that stuff. But I digress. Yep. Oh my god!
The fourth crit fail of the evening.
This is insane. Okay, I'll do it again and see how bad I fail. Fuck me.
You guys just are not allowed
you
to have an adventure
sure
tonight.
This is an RNG?
Heard about something happening in the city. Right. Okay. Give me a good reason why I shouldn't kill you right now.
Well,
We want to help.
because I find those weapons in the hands of untrained fools to be more dangerous than what lies outside the walls of the city. And I think you do too.
Fine. There's something more dangerous than those weapons. And it's what happens to people like him when they go untreated. And
He's
I
an
think you know
infected.
what I mean.
Are there lots of infected in the city?
Go to the basement of St. Aveline sometime, talk to Reverend Michael Longfellow, and ask what he thinks about the number of corrupted in the city.
That's what the illness is, isn't it? That's claimed the lives of so many. Michael the baker as well.
Corruption.
Corruption.
It's gonna eat all of us alive. There's only one thing that you can do about it.
A lot of Michaels in this city.
There are a lot of Michaels.
Oh, wait till we get to the Edgars. There's at least 3.
Oh my. And so your group is the one who's been tossing heads into the upper crust's windows, I take it?
Whose group?
The masks.
I don't know anything about any masks. Neither do you.
Certainly don't, unfortunately.
Maybe go pray for your sins, friend. See where that gets you.
I
And
have
he
so many.
turns around and disappears into the crowd.
I finish my drink and leave
Anastas, outside,
I am
you
outside.
are like out, like on the side of the building,
Yeah.
like watching out, like watching the street.
I imagine. Is this like in any kind of like alleyway?
Yeah, kind of. It's a little bit off the beaten path.
Sure. I would just
like the
kind
main
of
south
be.
road, rather.
Yeah, I'd be sitting or leaning against the side of the building, towards the back, away from a window, just waiting to see my compatriot leave.
Okay.
Come around the corner and.
What is your vigilant?
My vigilant is 10.
Simple enough. As you are waiting outside of the Potts Tavern, it's taking Alexander a while to do this, and you see in the pale moonlight, as they walk past, 2 Najit gilded in silver and gold, wearing hoods up, but as they pass, they turn and you can very clearly see the gleam of the moonlight off of one of their skulls before they pull the hood up and head towards the city.
Oh, did they notice me?
They did not notice you.
Interesting. Came off their skull. They're old. They're gilded. They're in cloaks. Oh, I can't leave my friend.
You can't not bite that fish hook either.
Fuck.
Split the party. Split the party.
I think I have to. I think
Anastas would do it.
He trusts Alexander. He's gonna walk after them. Not chasing them, but he's gonna walk after them.
Is he going to do so stealthily?
He can't. He's got a 5.
So he's okay.
He can try.
Could try.
I would try, and sure, I'll
Always a
try just
chance.
for the I'm gonna be walking far enough behind him.
So
maybe.
yeah, the thing that I'm thinking here, do you have a penalty from armor or something like that?
I don't know that from the rules. I think
what I was going to say was I would, because of the way that I see this working, which is just like hanging back far enough that they don't notice that they're being followed. Your discreet is still just 5. So
yeah,
that's
I'm
just
very tall. I'm very.
You could add a modifier
these
to
rolls.
it, with it being night and him following from a distance.
Sure. Yeah, I would give you I'll give you a +3, so that'll be 8 out of 20.
Knowing the rules tonight.
It can't all be bad.
We gotta break it somehow. Well, at least that's not a complete failure.
But they can still be bad.
It can still be bad, but they're not
Can
that.
still
It's not
be
that
bad.
bad.
It's not that
Yeah.
bad. Okay, so
Also, I'm not terribly worried about them noticing me, but I'm just not like running to them.
Right.
sure.
Like, yeah.
Okay. The 2 Najit go up the south road. When they get to the guards, they nod to the guards as they pass, and the guards nod back to them. At this point, they turn around and they see you standing in the road. They pull their hoods down a little bit farther and shuffle off into the city towards the north.
They saw me, but they don't think I know what they are.
Exactly.
Ooh, but they are trying to hide. They know who the fuck I am.
They know who the fuck you are, absolutely.
Oh. The plot is viscous.
Deidre liked that one.
It's like a nice paste. Elmer's glue.
They shuffle off like into an alley or just like continue up
into
the
an
road?
alleyway to try and like break line of sight with you.
Oh, they're trying to get over. They do not want me to follow them. Ooh, god damn. Oh no. I'm gonna go back to Alexander.
Okay. Sounds good. You return to Alexander, who's like waiting outside the bar, like, where the fuck were you?
The fuck, Anastas? You said you would be right here.
I apologize. I saw two of my kind.
Oh, what did you learn?
They hid from me and wished not to be followed.
That is interesting in its own right.
Very. I was told there are Najit working outside the rules of the Orthodoxy. And these individuals, at least one, is of a significant caste. But more importantly, I take it that you found something.
Sorts. My life was threatened, but I managed to get out of it unscathed. Seems like all signs are pointing to the temple as where I need to go next. Whether it be by crazed, corrupted, or, well, from the horse's mouth, so to speak. I did find out that the illness that is going around is what we feared, and it is the corruption. And it seems to be taking many more than we probably expected.
You say you know where to go?
I believe the temple and Michael Longfellow is where I will need to go next.
Then I will accompany you.
Then let us depart.
Are you guys going there tonight?
What time is
Anastas would, if there's time, if we could.
Yeah.
I mean,
What time would it be?
It is getting late. It's the late that like the church is probably not open.
Ah, okay.
But like that said, like also temples have that quality of like if you're in need, they'll open up. But
that's
like,
what I would kind of like it that it's not open.
True.
Okay.
We can at least investigate. Whether we can get in or not tonight, I suppose that'll determine. But if we can get in tonight, that may be beneficial.
Okay, sounds good. Dorian. So
Yes.
your father has decided to go to bed. It's getting late for him after all, and he wishes you a good night. You're still not quite tired. What do you do to spend the last, hour or so before you go to bed?
So after kind of being hit by that bombshell from his father and having a good idea of what this sickness now is and how he, in a roundabout way, is kind of responsible for it, he takes kind of a minute to himself before he gets up, remembering Professor Colin and how he has kind of been chilling around the house, he will. I'm assuming this is a library of the Caldwell Manor. There's probably some paper and an inkwell or something laying around.
Yeah.
I'll grab some of those and go find Professor Colin.
Okay. So Professor Colin has had Argyle make up a spare bed for the spare bed for him. As I said, most of the rooms on the second and third floor are abandoned, and so the making up the spare room for your friends has mostly consisted of like pulling out some like dusty sofas and like uncovering them with like pillows and sheets, and that's about the best that we're doing. Professor Colin is sitting, he's staring out the window at the moon above the city. In the spare room with just a small candle flickering, he looks at you despondently before turning back.
Dorian will look at him and kind of put on a small, kind of sad smile and just say, "Still a mile better than sleeping under the stars with nothing but bedrolls, eh, Professor?"
He does crack a smile at that.
Here. And I'll pull up a chair by the bedside and hand him a stack of papers. I take it you need a little bit of time before you go and visit your family again?
He thinks about it for a moment. And he writes down, "To go home, I would be only a burden."
You're not a burden, Professor, on anyone. In a big way, you were a large part of what kept me going out there. Just wish that you could see you the way that I see you, with the respect that a dignified professor of an academy deserves. Your family deserves to know that you're all right, especially with everything that's happened in Gareth and them being flooded here with refugees and hearing no word from you. They deserve that, Professor.
He writes down, "Let me translate the journal." And then he writes down, "It's all I have left."
I will make a deal with you, Professor. If you go and visit your family, I will let you continue work on the journal. I will go with you if you wish, and I will help you in whatever way I can with this burden of the journal, but promise me that you will see your family, and I promise you that we will see this done.
He writes down one word: deal.
Deal. And Dorian will shake the professor's hand. Sleep well, Professor.
He nods at you.
And
All right. Dorian, as you leave the room, you run into your mother, who is got her like her evening gown on. It looks like she is about to go to bed. Dorian, were you able to find something at the store earlier today?
Oh, yes, Mother. I picked a little something out. Like you said, it's not that big of a gathering or anything. Just a simple soiree. Just.
It
gotten
is.
all
It is important, however.
Yeah, of course.
No, that's not what I mean. It's so good to have you back, Dorian. I've been trying to keep our family afloat, and in your absence, your father, he started spending money to fill the void. And to see the light in his eyes again has been very good.
I know.
He cares very deeply about you. We both care very deeply about you, and the things that you said, the journey that you've been on, it's almost too much to comprehend.
It's certainly a big pill to swallow.
Is there anything that I can do for you?
I need a meeting with the different professors, and
I'm sure that the headmaster will be able to arrange something, and I have gotten his confirmation that he will be there tomorrow.
I think I know what sickness plagues this city.
It's the corruption.
It is.
There's only one way to cure corruption, Dorian, and we are very fortunate to have plenty of store to last a very long time.
But what of all those people? Can we not produce more?
It's not a matter of production, it's a matter of sourcing. And unfortunately, my sources have been stingy. Very, very stingy. But our family is going to be taken care of. I'm going to make sure of that. We're finally back together, and I'm not going to let us be separated again.
I know. And I am sorry for acting out of turn earlier. It's
No, don't worry about it. You're clearly under a lot of stress, as are we all. Speaking of, there are going to be a number of influential people at the party tomorrow. A number I assume are going to want to speak to you. I think it's best if we keep some of the details of your journey to ourselves.
such as what?
Well, there's
I understand that it's
a lot of
not exactly...
superstition going around, is what I'm saying. And I fear that if word gets out that you had an experience, some of the experiences that you had, some people would take it the wrong way.
But surely the professor of mythology should know. I mean...
Sybil? No, not Sybil. Basil? You're going to have... You want me to invite Basil? Are you serious?
Is there something wrong with that?
The
Can I set up some...
woman is not exactly soiree material. Perhaps it would be best if we could get a private meeting with her.
Oh, Of course. Who all did you intend on inviting to this?
Well, Edgar and Katerina Darling are of course going to be there. Reverend Michael Longfellow, who I think might accuse you of heresy if you mention anything about Ishou. So let's probably keep that to a minimum. Who else is going to be there? Well, there's going to be the Brass Jacks captain. What the devil is his name? Jean. Edgar Wainwright, who has been simply a blessing to our family, and of course I had to invite Johann Morius. He would, if I didn't, there would be hell to pay. I'm sure you know it.
Oh my god. It's all the movers and shakers.
You know, he's got a daughter, Bridget. Have you met? She's supposedly quite something.
I don't believe that we have, no. What all do you think it pertinent for me to discuss with them, then? Just simply retell the story, but leave out the bits about Ishou and... Well,
Johann Morius has been a thorn in our family side for decades. I'm sure that you know this.
Yes.
I need him to side with me on the vote to on the weapons vote. Our city is not prepared if there's going to be a Hadra attack. It just isn't. We need to make sure that we have the weapons available to outfit those who can fight to protect the city. That is our advantage, and we should focus on our advantages.
I had misunderstood you earlier. I thought you were looking for us to stockpile them and then sell them out to anyone. I was in favor of equipping the city.
No, yes, the city must purchase additional bolt throwers. That is imperative, but that means that the university needs to make them, and they are right now not doing that. And I need you to figure out why.
We definitely need to continue production of these weapons,
and that's why we need to talk to the professor or the headmaster. And I think that you are in a very good position to have his.
Of course, I just survived a continued hunting, and I've actually one moment, and he'll kind of go over to his backpack that he's kind of had with him through this long journey.
Yeah.
Rifle through it a bit. I was actually able to grab one of the Andaran pieces of weaponry.
Oh, did you show your father this?
No, we were a bit caught up with other things. I meant to, though. That's why I brought it back.
Your father is a brilliant man, but as you know, he can be very distractible. We have to make sure that he focuses on the things that are important and stays away from the lockbox.
He gives a bit of a half chuckle. I know, Mother. Yes. Well, perhaps he could look into a new design, based off of the Andaran design, to make it a bit safer for us to train up people properly with these weapons.
Yes, I think that is a wise idea. Well, I must be to bed. There is it's going to be a busy day tomorrow, so I will bid you adieu, and see you in the morning. It's good to have you home.
It's good to be home.
And she
And he'll
walks
give her
off.
a smile, and I'll go off to bed as well.
All right, sounds good.
No, I'm gonna wait up in the foyer for my friends.
Okay.
Might pass out in the chair. We'll see.
Yeah. So, speaking of your friends, Alexander and Anastas, you are headed to the east side of the city to get to the temple. Is that right?
Yeah.
Having not been in the city for very long, you do get a little turned around, and you end up back in the north side of the city, just a few blocks off of where you wanted to be. But the reason that you notice this is that you actually pass Caldwell Manor. And just realizing your mistake, you immediately turn around and sort of head off back east in the direction that you came from. As you do so, you pass a small shop, which reads Caldwell Cosmetics and Apothecary. It seems that the Caldwells run a small apothecary cosmetics shop next door to the mansion, which right now at this time of day is all closed up and locked up, except you notice two hooded figures emerge from behind the building. They step out into the alley, they turn, and they lock eyes with you. And you can see the gleam of the Najit skulls underneath their hoods. And at that moment, they turn and they run. And that is where we are going to end our session for today.
Oh no! Come on!
Lots of threads.
Lots of threads going on.
Oh man. Whew.
All right.